and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare,
Regina Bliss,
Deborah Adoso,
and I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show.
This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show, your morning companion.
Number one. GhanaTalks Radio, number one. GhanaTalks.
This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show, your morning companion. This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show, your morning companion.
Good morning to you, lovely listeners of GhanaTalks Radio. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning, and you are welcome to the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show right here on GhanaTalks Radio. This is the first segment of the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show, and this is the news review. Right here, we bring you all the relevant stories making waves in the news, from business to politics, from sports to entertainment. We got you covered with the most relevant stories and informed perspectives on issues that matter to you every morning right here on the show. I am your host, Ruth Esenam Fiagbadu. Remember that we are streaming live on Facebook at GhanaTalks Radio, on YouTube at GhanaTalks Radio, and also on X at GhanaTalks Radio. Do also send your comments. We'll read them. Let's get interactive and engage on the morning show. Good morning to you once again. This morning, I'm doing this with Miss Regina Bliss and Miss Debbie Adoso, who will be sharing their informed perspectives on the issue for discussion this morning. Good morning to you, ladies, and you are welcome to the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show.
Good morning.
How are you doing, Miss Debbie?
The grace is sufficient.
We thank God. Miss Regina?
I'm good by grace.
We thank God. I'm fine. Today, did you experience shorter night, longer day?
Not really.
Not really. Then I guess you slept early yesterday.
Not really.
Not really. Then maybe Christ extended the time today.
Sure.
Right, so we're delving straight into our news items for this morning. Yesterday, we saw the minority holding a press conference, and they spoke on certain issues. We'll be looking at a few of them this morning. Right, minority urges Supreme Court to quash case challenging OSP's prosecutorial powers. The minority in Parliament is calling on the Supreme Court to dismiss both a High Court ruling and an ongoing case challenging the powers of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. The case, filed by Noah Ephraim Adamte, argues that Parliament overstepped its authority by allowing the OSP to exercise prosecutorial powers, which the Constitution placed under the Attorney General's Department. Speaking at a press conference, Hassan Tampuli, on behalf of the minority, described the legal challenge as a deliberate attempt to weaken the anti-corruption body. He alleged that a series of legal actions against the OSP may be politically motivated and part of a broader effort to undermine its work. The minority is also demanding that the Attorney General appears before Parliament to explain the legal basis and implications of the ongoing case. This follows a recent High Court ruling that declared OSP prosecutions null and void, further deepening the national debate over whether the office has the constitutional authority of prosecute cases independently. The minority insists that protecting the independence of the OSP is critical to Ghana's fight against corruption. So as part of the press conference that was held today, this was one of the issues that the minority raised, and they are urging the Supreme Court to quash case challenging OSP's prosecutorial powers, and they are also saying that the Attorney General and the OSP should report to Parliament and also answer some questions. Ms. Debbie, what then happens if Supreme Court quashes the case?
If Supreme Court is to quash the case, as you said, then it means that the special prosecutor will have to retain its power and not seek the authority of the the authority of the Attorney General before it goes ahead. Yes, so with what I'm saying, if the court is supposed to quash the whole incident, then it means that the OSP will have to go according to his or her rules or the laws that is governing his office. But even before that will happen, then it means we need to review the laws of the OSP and that of the Attorney General. Because if this case should go to court, the probability that the Attorney General is going to win the case is high. It's high because when you look at the law, the Attorney General has the sole power. It's stated in the law that he has the power, and he also have the authority to command the OSP. And so this whole issue going to the Supreme Court for the Attorney General to win, it's kind of high. But before the courts can also push out this whole issue, then it means they have to review the laws that is governing the office of the OSP and that of the Attorney General. Because if we don't review it, then it still stands that the OSP will need to seek permission from the Attorney General. And as at yesterday, I learned that most cases have been taken over by the Attorney General and they've started working towards it. So it should tell you that one way or the other, the power of the OSP, that 5% that has been left with the OSP, has been diverted to the Attorney General. So this whole issue going to Supreme Court, it's for the Attorney General to win. For me, it's 100% something. But what the minority is also calling for, that they need to come to Parliament. In a way, I feel like, yes, they are right.
They should come and answer questions.
You need to come and answer questions. But even with that, the minority, are they trying to tell us that they are asleep? Because they were the ones, they were in power when that law was drafted. When the law of the OSP was drafted.
Yeah.
So are they trying to tell us that they didn't notice all this and then you are calling them to come to Parliament? In a way, we are backing them because we need them to come to Parliament and then answer to a few questions. But on the other hand, you can't tell me that you don't know what is going on because you drafted the law yourself. You went through it. I'm not sure it was one person that drafted it. Even if it is one person, the rest of it will need to go through. And I believe that after a law is drafted, it's even deliberated on Parliament. Sometimes part of it, Parliament will go against it and then it will need to be scrapped. So at least it went through Parliament, should I say Parliament proceedings, they went through it, they deliberated on it, and then finalized on it that it's good to be, it's stated that this is the law governing this particular office. Were you sleeping when the law was brought to Parliament? No. So what are you saying right now?
So that means that if they should quash the case, does it automatically mean that the Attorney General has won?
Of course.
Based on the ruling of the High Court?
Yes.
Right. Miss Eugenia.
Okay, so with what the minority is alleging that with the issue going on, it's a strategy for, I don't know if should I use this current administration or I should use the government. It's a strategy for the government to scrap the OSP. I would say that, to my understanding, in a way yes, in a way no. In the sense that in as much as the High Court, the Supreme Court, the Attorney General stands for the government, they are different entity on its own, and they bring up conversations, they bring up ruling based on what they know. So with the issue going on, and I also know for a fact that probably they want to scrap it, but they are finding ways and means to scrap it. And the main reason why I would say no is because President John Dramani Mahama has made it clear to us that it's too early for them to scrap the OSP. So this battle is between the Attorney General, the Office of the Attorney General, and the Office of the Special Prosecutor also. So I think, as the minority is stating that they need to come to Parliament and answer some questions, we need to hear from them what is going on, why the debate or why the battle between powers, then at the end of the day we would know where to stand. Because if the office of the special prosecutor is scrapped, mind you, we will not solve corruption. Even with the office of the special prosecutor itself, you are not even solving it. They are taking steps, but the steps is not good enough. So with the minority, I do agree with them.
What about them calling for Supreme Court to quash the case?
They can't tell Supreme Court to quash the case. The Supreme Court is not interfered by any political party. If they do that, they are sending a wrong signal to the people and also about our judicial system that, oh, once there's an issue, NDC, NPP have the right to tell or decide for the Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court should take on the case, go according to the law, and make sure that at the end of the day they give a free and transparent verdict.
Right, let's proceed to the next issue they actually spoke about. Minority alleges strategy to dismantle OSP through courts and parliament. The minority in parliament, led by Hassan Tampuli, is alleging a coordinated effort to weaken the office of the special prosecutor. Speaking at a press conference, Mr. Hassan claimed that recent court actions, petitions, and parliamentary moves against the OSP are not isolated, but part of a broader strategy to undermine the institution. He argued that petitions seeking the removal of the special prosecutor were politically motivated and designed to discredit the office after it pursued high-profile cases. According to him, some of these petitions were referred to the Chief Justice but did not establish a prima facie case. He further stated that after those efforts failed, there were attempts in Parliament to limit the powers of the OSP, which also did not succeed. Mr. Hassan pointed to a pending case at the Supreme Court of Ghana, challenging the legality of the OSP's prosecutorial powers, describing it as another step in what he called a sustained attempt to weaken the institution. His comments follows a recent High Court ruling that declared office of the Special Prosecutor's prosecutions null and void, intensifying the national debate over the future of the anti-corruption body. The minority maintains that the timing of these developments suggests a deliberate and coordinated effort rather than a coincidence. So this is what the minority is alleging that the current administration is doing, that they are finding a strategy, they are finding a way to make sure that the office of the special prosecutor is being scrapped, is being taken off. Kojoto. Auntie Debbie, do you see that as a strategy? Or you think it was just a coincidence that Mr. Noah Adamte has an issue with the OSP and he actually went back into the constitution to find out that the OSP doesn't actually have the authority or the prosecutorial powers to actually prosecute?
I don't see it as an attempt to scrap the office of the special prosecutor. With what you are saying, I'm not surprised because I think in the course of the previous week, when this issue came about, there were instances where people also said that President Mahama is trying to fulfill the pleas of Martin Kpebu, and then he didn't want to do it plainly for people to see, so he wants to cut corners and then pass it through this whole issue, and then at the end of the day we see the office being scrapped. I don't see it as such. The issue is, yes, we know that the OSP is not really performing as we want it to do. Yeah. And since the inception of the Office of the Special Prosecutor, we've not seen any tangible example or any tangible result from that office. So automatically, we were part. In fact, let me talk to myself. Let me use myself as an example. I was part of the people who were calling for the demolition of the the Office of the Special Prosecutor because we don't see its benefit. But the president said no, and I have no say. If the president is saying that the Office of the Special Prosecutor should not be scrapped, he has his own reason, and so I don't see it as being politically motivated for it to be scrapped. But if we are talking about the office of the special prosecutor being interfered by upper hands or superiors, I would say yes, because even the OSP stated it himself that although his office is being independent, he doesn't work independently. His office is being intruded by other people we call superiors, just like the way you hear somebody say that, oh, it's an order from above, and so you're supposed to do accordingly. Now, what the minority is doing is a way of buttressing this whole issue with politics. This is just political propaganda they are trying to do, and I think it shouldn't be so. See, this issue we are dealing with is not it's not something that we should take lightly.
Yeah,
it is something that can even affect, shall I say, our democracy. Yes, it's kind of affected because if an office is trying to be or is perceived to be independent and it's not, it should tell you that in a way. What does democracy say? Democracy say that everybody is supposed to get his or her freedom to work, right? Even your right is not supposed to be infringed on. You have the right to speak, freedom to do everything. But if you don't get that freedom to act as you're supposed to do, in a way, then it means we are not practicing democracy. It means we just have the name tag, but we are not doing what democracy states that it should be done. So for me, with this whole issue, with the minority coming up, talking and all blah, 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 saying that the president and the NDC government wants to use this whole means to boost the OSP out of office and also scrap the office. It's politics they are doing. It's politics. The main issue is the people who drafted the law, they are the one putting all of us into this mess. Imagine they took their time, went through it, and then came across that no, this part is conflicting with the attorney general's own. Let's try and do something about it. But because they was in a hurry to bring it up, they were the one who brought this institution up and all that, and that is why we are where we are today. So for me, with what the minority is doing, it's just to score political points. I do not see this as a step or a conducive step that the NDC want to use to scrap the office of the special prosecutor. Mama Besobe scrapping a office of the special prosecutor, like he would have done it for long without even we calling on him and all that. But so long as the office is not scrapped, I should tell you that see so baby but to me a finance letter, but so I should tell you that the president still have this iota of trust in the OSP that regardless of what we are saying there, we don't see what he's doing. There is this kind of trust that yes, we don't see it as a sector that can bet forth something good or positive or profitable, but the president's eye is not our eye. He is seeing something positive from the office of the special prosecutor.
Right, Miss Gina, do you see the judiciary being dragged into political battles? Because now it looks like they are politicizing this whole issue and they want to drag the judiciary into it.
Our judicial system has always been dragged into political battle. With the issue of Abronye,
Baba Amandu and other few political communicators. The moment these institutions go ahead to arrest these people, then they find a way to make sure that they politicize it. So Ghana Police Service na kochioma mbeka say NDC. Say your friend say Iyoko and kochi obi ado say NDC. We've seen instances where these people are being picked up and the minority leader together with his associates, they go on the streets, say honorables form that they would not stand up until these people are being released. I want to believe that when you're a parliamentarian, you have fair knowledge when it comes to the law. Because you can't just be a parliamentarian without having no knowledge about the law. So they are the best people to even come out and explain things to us. But they are rather going south. Now,
with this judicial system, with the Yoko, the Supreme Court, the High Court, the Ghana Police Service, and all, because they all amount to the judicial system. If there's no arrest, there will be no case in a judicial court or jurisdiction. Now, looking at this same issue, where the minority is urging the Supreme Court to quash the case challenging OSP's power, are you the one to tell the Supreme Court what to do? You are not the one to tell the Supreme Court what to do. You need to make sure that you sit aside, present all your evidences and your facts if possible, and leave the rest for the Supreme Court. It's just like, say, Yachi wound to me. You say wound to me is indulging in illegal mining. Then you, the same MPPs, will tell either the High Court or the Supreme Court taking over this ruling to cancel the case, to make sure that they quash the case. In what sense? When you do that, it is political interference, and it is already sending a bad signal. At the end of the day, we know that if there's political interference, it will go in favor of those people, which is bad. It needs to be free and transparent. It needs to be, your friend is saying, I don't know if there's a word for unpolitical. Let me use it. Unpolitical. It shouldn't have anything to do with politics.
Yeah.
Our judicial system is our judicial system. It is not MPP. It is not NDC. It is not for Mahama. It is not for Nanado. It is not for Baumia. It is not for Afenyo Market. It is for the states. It is for Ghanaians. So we should treat it as such.
Minority. They'll always have a say in anything. Right, let's proceed. Release full Constitution Review Committee report. Civil society group Democracy Hub is calling on President John Dramani Mahama to immediately release the full Constitution Review Committee report. Speaking at a press briefing in Accra, Policy and Research Director said publishing only a summary is not enough for proper public engagement. He stressed that Ghanaians need access to the full, unabridged report to understand the proposals and contribute meaningfully to the reform process. The group, under the Youth Platform on Constitutional Reform, says it supports some of the proposed changes, including lowering the presidential age requirements, capping the number of ministers, restructuring the judiciary, and strengthening decentralization. However, they insist that support depends on transparency, wider consultations, and a clear roadmap for implementation. According to Democracy Hub, without these steps, Ghana risks repeating past attempts at constitutional reform that failed to materialize. So this is coming from civil society group Democracy Hub, and they are pleading or calling on the president to immediately release the full Constitution Review Committee report, and that releasing just a summary is not going to allow we Ghanaians or the citizens have a proper consultation or engagement when it comes to amending the constitution. Ms. Regina, do you think that is even necessary? Or let me ask that, why have they released just a summary but not the whole report?
Okay, so it is necessary that this Democracy Hub are calling for the government to release the full constitution reform or report. Yes, it is very necessary. And also the question he asked, why have they just released the summary
but not the full
maybe
report?
Probably, I don't know the reason why they've released just a summary. But one thing I know for sure is the constitution is not for politicians and it's not for the government. It is for the people. It is for everyone. We own the constitution. So for us to feel a part of this reform, we need to understand why certain things have been taken off, why you are reducing certain things, why you are adding this. We need to have a fair knowledge about it so that when we are debating on it, we would know what to say. we will know that, oh, saying, tea, and no me way free hand no do way be share her. Oh, a BN now will be say, why did they just release a summary? We don't know why they've released a summary. We don't know. So we need the full constitution reform so that at the end of the day everyone would be everyone would be at ease, and it also builds public trust. They need to make sure that they are transparent with us. And who say both the NDC and NPP are more sope idea, and they just come and give us figure it out yourself. We don't want it that way. We want in totals, and I applaud this democracy hub. Yes, it's good. They are indeed democracy. They should continue being democracy.
Right, Miss Debbie.
Yeah, so I believe there are lots of things that needs to be reviewed in our constitution, and then they mentioned some presidential age, scrubbing, I think ministerial. Let me go back so that I don't end up saying something here. Yeah, so lowering presidential age requirements, curbing ministerial appointments, restructuring the judiciary, and strengthening decentralization. For me, one thing that I want them to even review has to do with a president ruling for 4 years, and after he's done, he has to spend like 10 years before he can be interviewed, he can be interrogated to ensure whether he has done something wrong. For me, it's a no. Immediately the person is out of office, investigation should be conducted. There should be 10 years. What if the person dies before that 10 years? So that is something that for me, I wish they will review that. So the constitution that we need a lot needs to be done, and we need to change it, because most of the things that are being stated in the constitution is not helping us. So when we don't review it and then change certain things, we'll continue struggling. And for me, the main reason why they don't want to review it, single some things out and then inject some things in the law, in our constitution, is because I feel like they know when they do it, it will go against them. So they'll keep delaying. Now, the more reason why I personally feel like they just gave a summary of the committee gave a summary of whatever they did is because I feel I believe they are not yet done, or they need more time to bring out the results and everything. Because trust me, if these people are in a hurry to say something, and then maybe after 1 week or so they come back to say something different, we will hold them responsible, because they want no money feedback. So I believe that they just want time. They want to give us a summary. At least we don't want to keep you in the dark, but get to know that this is what is going on. But when we are done, and then everything is in its right places, and then we are confident and sure that this is it, then we'll bring out the full report and everything, then we can go through. So for me, I feel like so long as the summary is out, it means there is still more to do and they're still working on it. But when it prolonged, that is when we can finally say that it's intentional. They just don't want us to know, which is wrong.
So you think we should take our time?
Of course.
We should take our
time. But even reviewing the constitution shouldn't be something that should take a long period of time. When we get the right authorities that are supposed to sit on it and then ensure that the right thing is being put in there, and then whatever is in there that is not supposed to be there is being scrubbed out, it shouldn't take it should less than a month, because we should be able to review everything and then put things in order. Unless we want to tell ourselves that we are not ready to review it because it's going to go against us.
But it's right for them to ask that the government actually release the full report.
Come again.
It's right for them, or it's fair for them to ask the government to actually release the full report
of course,
of the constitution that was amended. Right. Let's proceed to our last story. Anti-corruption crusader calls for decentralization of presidential powers. An anti-corruption advocate in Ghana has renewed calls for the decentralization of presidential powers, arguing that excessive authority concentrated in the presidency is undermining accountability and enabling corruption. Emmanuel Wilson Jr., chief crusader of the Crusaders Against Corruption, is urging a national conversation on reforms to Ghana's governance structure. He maintains that the current constitutional framework grants the president too much control, weakening checks and balances and limiting the independence of key state institutions. According to him, Ghana's democratic progress depends on distributing power across independent bodies rather than concentrating it in a single office. He warned that the existing system allows the president to appoint and influence multiple arms of government, creating conditions that can fuel corruption. The campaigner is therefore calling for a review and a full implementation of recommendations from the Constitutional Review Commission, particularly those relating to executive authority. He believes such reforms would strengthen institutions, reduce political interference, and improve public trust in governance. He further appealed to civil society groups, traditional leaders, and citizens to support the push, stressing that decentralizing power is critical to building a transparent and accountable system. Ghana operates a presidential system established by the 1992 Constitution, where executive power is largely vested in the president, making debate around public distribution central to governance reforms. So this is another civil society calling for the decentralization of presidential powers. They are saying that there's too much power vested into the president, and then when it happens like that, it's difficult for check and balances to happen. Mr. B, do you think it's the right call?
Yeah, it is. If you look at the arms of government, that has to do with the executive, the legislative, the judiciary. The executive, which has to do with the president and his cabinet, they have more powers than the other arms of government. Especially when we take Ghana, let's take Ghana for example. The executive have more powers than other arms of government, and that is why when the government gives out a directive, no matter who you are supposed to heed by the directives of the executive. And although if you look below the executive, that has to do with the legislature, the judiciary, they all have their powers. But when you look at all these three, the executive can intrude in all the affairs of even the parliamentarians and the judiciary. But you as a parliamentarian, you cannot interfere in the activities of the executive. The judiciary, you cannot interfere in the activities of the executive, but the executive can do so. So when we take the judiciary, that has to do with our court. We believe our court is supposed to be independent, but they are not independent because the executive can just intrude in whatever you are doing. You can be dealing with a case that involves a government official, and that government is under the executive. You can just receive, I'm not saying that is what the president does, but you can receive a call from the president or any appointee that is working under the president, and then tells you that, no, this case, you don't need to go ahead. Whatever you need to do to kill the case or bring or halt the case, you should do it. You will do it because you are beneath the executive, and the power of the executive supersedes yours. And that is why we are saying that at least there should be some sort of balance. The executive should have 50-50. It should be 50-50. Because even parliamentarian, the executive will still interfere. Because when you look at the legislature, that has to do with our parliamentarians. When they're deliberating on issues or whatever it is, no matter how good they go about that whole case, when they are done, they have to seek the permit of the executive. If the executive does not give you that go ahead, it won't pass into law.
Just as we see the
LGBTQ,
the president has to assent it. So if he says he's not going to assent it, what will he do?
There is no way it can be passed into law.
Yeah. So for that, I think it needs a proper review. It needs a proper check. Miss Regina, your thoughts on this, please.
So when it comes to decentralizing the powers of the executive, that is the president, I think is good, because if it is not decentralized, at the end of the day, the executive holds greater power than the other arms of government. And just imagine the president, in fact, the president appoints almost all the ministers, including the judges of the Supreme Court, the Bank of Ghana, and other institutions. And these people are there to check the president. Let's say, who would I even use? Probably let's use the Ghana Police Service. That if there's an issue, they are supposed to investigate. Let's say President John Dramani Mahama is involved in a scandal, and they are supposed to investigate that issue. At the end of the day, he appointed IGP. Tete Yohonu. And I'm not saying that he will do it. But at the end of the day, if he's a corrupt official or if he's a corrupt president, he has every right to either terminate his contract or influence the decisions at the end of the day. And also with certain key, how would I put it? With certain key appointments or with certain key decisions, I don't think the president needs to be involved. But looking at the current states of which we are, he is involved. And I think when he came into power, he scrapped or repealed a law that stated that people can, I don't know if it's people or the government, can, your friend is saying, mine in an area, forest reserves. It was repealed. But before then, the president had the right to issue whatever directive to these people, but at the end of the day was taken off. So decentralizing the president's power is very essential to make sure that at the end of the day we don't experience weak checks and balances, and also everything goes smoothly.
Right. Do you think that is why we are not able to fight corruption as well? Because the president appoints the attorney general and also appoints the OSP.
The OSP, they say. Oh, okay.
Yes, the president appoints the OSP.
Some members of the legislative.
Yeah. So would you say that that could also be part, or you are scared to say that if that is part, then the president is corrupt?
It's also corrupt. Okay, so you see, when it comes to the president, he has stated emphatically that he wants to solve corruption. But as he states now, we wouldn't know if he's intruding in the affairs of these bodies, because mind you, what we are experiencing now is battle power between the Attorney General and the OSP. And the OSP also stated that he's been, if anything, dictated for. People are interfering. So the people who are interfering, I wouldn't say it's not the president, but the ministers around. And these same ministers are also directed or are listening to the president. So in a way, they are all involved.
In a way, they are all involved. As part of our topic for the second segment, we'll be looking at this as well. So do well to stay with us, and let's get to hear the opinions of people as well. Thank you so much for joining us on the News Review. Up next, we have Today in History with Miss Regina Bless.
Bringing you Today in History on this day. Ohio criminalizes seduction by male teachers. Ohio passes a statute that criminalizes seduction by all men over the age of 18 who worked as teachers or instructors of women. The law even prohibited men from having consensual sex with women of any age whom they were instructing. The penalty for disobeying this law ranged from 2 to 10 years in prison. 1915, Germans introduced poison gas. During the Second Battle of Ypres, German forces introduced large-scale chemical warfare by releasing 160 tons of chlorine gas from cylinders, creating a 4-mile gap in the Allied line and marking a terrifying turning point in World War I. Under direction from chemist Fritz Haber, This attack aimed to break the Western Front deadlock, causing over 1,000 casualties. To some few global observances, Administrative Professionals Day recognizes the vital contributions of administrative staff, secretaries, assistants, and receptionists who keep offices running efficiently. It honors their hard work, flexibility, and key role in organizational success while boosting morale. Next, International Mother Earth Day, to raise awareness of environmental challenges, promote biodiversity, and inspire action for a sustainable future. It emphasizes harmony with nature to balance economic, social, and environmental needs, protecting the planet for current and future generations. Lastly, April Showers Day celebrates the typical, often heavy rain showers of spring in the northern hemisphere that nurture the earth for May flowers. This day highlights the seasonal shifts caused by the northward movement of the jet stream. And that's all for today on Today in History and some global observances, live on Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Thank you so much, Ms. Regina Bless, for Today in History and some observances of the day. Up next, we have Debbie's Grill.
Welcome to Debbie's Grill, where we talk about issues that concern the state, void of politics, fear or favor. Minister of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, has accused New Patriotic Party members of Parliament of being hypocritical in demanding that the anti-LGBTQ bill be passed under John Dramani Mahama's government. Speaking during his turn on the Government Accountability Series, he said the MPP members of Parliament who are now pontificating and demanding the passage of the bill folded their arms during the first attempt to get the bill passed under their government. He claimed the 4 New Patriotic Party members of Parliament who joined 4 National Democratic Congress legislators to sponsor the first anti-gay bill went into hiding when the time came for it to be passed. We were 4 MPP, 4 NDC. By the time we got to the venue, 3 MPP members of Parliament ran away. We needed to call 3 other NDC MPs to be added to the 4 NDC members of Parliament to make 7. Reverend Ntim Fojo was a Reverend Minister. He was one of the 4, so he joined the 7 NDC to pass it. He said the minister indicated that after failing to get the bill passed under the government, the MPP members of Parliament are now trying to create the impression that the Mahama administration does not want to pass the anti-gay bill into law to score political points, which is said will not work. He assured that President Mahama would ensure the bill is being passed. The local government minister went on to disclose that the Constitutional and Legal Committee of Parliament is meeting on the bill on April 23rd to determine the way forward on its passage. So God willing, tomorrow, today is 22nd, yes. So God willing, tomorrow there will be a meeting by Parliament and they are going to decide on the bill. So we are looking forward to hear some good news after the meeting. Now, this is from the Minister of Local Government and Chieftaincy, Ahmed Ibrahim. He said that the members of Parliament representing the New Patriotic Party, when they were in power, we didn't really saw their energy in pressuring their government to pass the anti-LGBTQ bill into law. But when the NDC came to power, we could hear noises here and then, media briefing, talking about LGBTQ. President John Dramani Mahama doesn't want to pass the bill. It was part of his promises. Why is he not passing the bill and all that? And then he feels like they are doing that to score political points. Now, you see, LGBTQ, the more reason why you find me talking about this is something that I will be so happy if the bill is being passed into law. I'll be so happy and excited. Yesterday, I came across a video on Twitter where they were doing this fair, trade fair or something, and then they were selling, excuse my words though, they were selling sex toys and all that. And then I saw a couple of young boys dressed like females, and they were going to buy it. So the person videoing it was like, hey, President Mahama, LGBTQ have come to stay. Oh, look at what the upcoming future generations, look at what they are doing. And then I'll say 90% of the population there were male dressed in female attire. Some even braided their hair like females. Some were wearing female dresses, and you know how female behaves and all that. They were exhibiting those gestures and all that. So I was like, it means this is in the country. It's going on. See, if somebody should tell you that LGBTQ is not in Ghana, they are deceiving you. I'm telling you the truth. There were instances where Regina even sent me a video, and it was a podcast where they call themselves the bold, it's funny, they call themselves the bold gays, you get it? So they have, it's a podcast where they speak about gay, they speak about the criticism they receive from people, they speak about how bold they are to take the decision to be gay in Ghana. And this is a podcast they do, and they post it on TikTok. It should tell you that LGBTQ is in Ghana here. People are practicing it. The future generation of Ghana, they are practicing it. They are into lesbianism. They are into gay. And you see, for those people, I always say this: it is your life. Whatever you want to do with your life is you. That is what you want. Whether the consequences is going to be negative or positive, my mom will always tell me, you will send it to your house, not my house. It is your face you are showing to the people, not my face. So that is your life. But let's think of it again. What about those innocent kids that has no idea about all these things, and they've been taken advantage of? What about them? And that is why we are advocating for this bill to be passed into law, so that those adults who knows the right thing to do, and they are not doing it, and ends up taking advantage of these young ones, will be held responsible. That is all we want. If this bill is not being passed, it's going to be a whole lot of issue. Mr. Ibrahim is saying that MPP, you have no say. And sincerely speaking, the way the MPP members of parliament are so energized, calling on government to pass this bill, sometimes it baffles me. So I just fold my hands and I look at them. I'm like, come on, so these people were in power and they never do anything. Like, they did nothing. The only person that I can boldly say was quiet, open on this bill was Intim Fojo. He plus Sami Jemfi from the NDC. And even with Intim Fojo, although he was not that loud, but he openly stated that he was against the LGBTQ issue, and so he wanted a bill to be passed. But immediately the NDC came into picture, say the vim, they've gotten the power, they are now energized. So they kept calling, why is the bill not passed? Why is the... But that same energy was not being used to push the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to pass the bill into law. The issue now is whether MPP came and then they didn't pass it into law. You are in power right now, and we are all looking up to you. Whether the bill will be passed or not, it's in your court. It's in the court of the NDC. And don't forget that the main reason why people vote for you is not because you've promised a lot of things. LGBTQ is also part. It's also part. We've seen instances where a young boy died out of this whole thing, and then the person who caused that kind of that kind of mess has been granted bail He has been granted bail. So automatically, what are you trying to put across? That yes, someone who is 30, 40 years, and most of the time, these things happen in our schools. Teachers that are into that lure students. Sometime ago, I even came across a documentary. 3 boys in senior high school were being taken advantage of by their teachers. They were being taken advantage of. So these are the people, okay? These are the people that we are rooting for. And that is the main reason why we want this bill to be passed. As long as we are pressing, they will continue to press till this bill is being passed into law. And trust me, if this bill is being passed into law, and just more discipline, no. Because as a male, you cannot dress like a female. When you dress, so it means that those content creators who dress like females to create their content, you need to think of a different alternative, because you cannot dress like a female to shoot a video. You were born as a male. God in his own wisdom knows what he is doing. And trust me, God is not unwise to create you in what you find yourself to be. You just wake up one day, I don't feel like, so imagine I just wake up one day and I tell myself I don't feel like being a female. In fact, I think my mind is now behaving like a male, but I have the features of a female, so I want to go under surgery, I want to become a male. Then I come to my fellow female colleagues at the workplace and then I start proposing. Am I insane? You can do that in other countries, but our norms, our values do not condone those acts. It is an abomination. And so the bill, dear, we are there and we will pass it. As for that bill, we will need to pass it. Because if that bill is not being passed, then I'm sure Ghanaians will also think twice. You see, it is one thing to trust in someone, and it's another thing to trust in the person failing you. Your second time coming back to retaliate to that person will be worse and it will be dangerous. And so we hope that at the end of the day, the results that will be out from this meeting will be positive. It will be positive. It doesn't matter whether a government came on board and they didn't sign it. So long as you are in power, we are looking up to you to sign it, because you promised that. And so we are hoping that you fulfill your promise, so we don't see you or we don't classify you in the group of those people we know. And so the LGBTQ, dear, Mr. President, when you have to sign it. The bill has been reintroduced to Parliament. God willing, tomorrow there is a committee that has been set. They are going to deliberate on it. The outcome will be out. We hope the outcome is positive. And when it's positive and the time is up to sign, we hope not to hear any excuse. The only reason why signing this bill has become something very difficult is because we are not independent as a country. If we are independent as a country and we are not being controlled by other countries, I'm not sure we'll find it difficult to sign this bill. But because we claim we are independent, but we are not. And that is why day in, day out, we find ourselves at the mercies of other countries. They tell us what to do and we abide by it. We are in our country and then we find people in other countries directing us, telling us to sit here and we sit, telling us to stand up and then we stand up, telling us to do this and then we do it. We don't do things on our own. I should clearly tell you that we are not independent. And that is why signing this bill has become so difficult. And so please, we are pleading with you. We will be so excited that by the end of this year, not even next year or 2028. You need to pass this bill. That is what we are looking for. Thank you for making time with me on the screen.
Thank you so much, Miss Debbie, for that girl. As Miss Debbie has stated, they have to pass the LGBTQ bill, and as she mentioned, they are going to be having a meeting. And so in a meeting, we'll get to find out how far with the process, how far with the proceedings of the bill, where it has gotten to so far, if it is in Parliament. But as His Excellency mentioned, they've introduced it in Parliament, so surely once it gets to his table, he will make sure that he signs it. So chillax, calm down. Right, before we go, today in Sunyani, there's going to be a demonstration. And this is from the NDC. Sorry, this is from the NPP. They said that the government is intimidating them. So this demonstration is happening in Sunyani. And I think it has already even started, if I'm not mistaken. This morning I saw a couple of videos flying about. And I'm very positive that right after they're in Sunyani, those here to start doing their own. That one there, they will do it. Please, we have the right to demonstrate, so don't say they are jobless. Allow them to demonstrate. Thank you so much for joining us on the first segment of the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. We'll be going for the news shortly, and right after the news, we'll be back with the main segments. Please stick and stay with us.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
Ghana Talks Radio, I wo UK abrochimemu era from Ghana mu ha the sound system which spinning machine papa every amano ne ababegu o Ghana mu ha enti se we ye a year we engagement we wedding we birthday party political parties are mo rally some we sorry mo crusade so we bo carnival or any kind of event now we spinning machine papa a boa sound no mu dia any American for GTR sounds the amount your live band in so a woto nsa the friend ya yebetimi ababeboa ama wudwumedi a wudi ene so atimi aye kama pa yawo enkan poponi mantemo anya aponchi hotel eho pepepe ena yebutuo odi ane se wo befre empanifo ewo 0546960510 GTR sounds emu de angaza.
Business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
It's 8 o'clock. Hello, good morning, and welcome to the morning news update on Ghana Talks Radio. Coming up, parliamentary minority list demand on Office of the Special Prosecutor dispute, seeking President's position. Youth Reform Coalition presses government to publish full constitution review report. NDC chair defends agricultural reforms amid falling farm prices. Also coming up, corruption in power sector identified as major factor behind power outages. Africa Education Watch demands 2% of education budget for inclusive learning. These and many more coming up your way shortly. The minority in parliament has issued 3 key demands over the status of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. The caucus is calling on President John Dramani Mahama to publicly state his position on the Office of the Special Prosecutor, insisting that the President must clarify whether he supports the anti-graft body's mandate. It also wants the Attorney General summoned before Parliament for an inquiry into the legal development affecting the office. The minority further demands that the High Court ruling stripping the OSP of its prosecutorial powers should be stayed pending appeal. The group argues that allowing the ruling to stand while an appeal is pending will weaken the fight against corruption. According to the minority in Parliament, the independence and prosecutorial authority of the Office of the Special Prosecutor are critical to holding public officials accountable and must not be eroded through the court.
The High Court ruling must be immediately challenged and stayed, and we call on the OSP to immediately appeal the decision of the High Court and immediately also apply for a stay of execution at the High Court. And we dare also add that he must also proceed to the Supreme Court with a writ of certiorari to quash the decision of the High Court. We call on the Supreme Court to expedite its determination in Adamte versus the Attorney General. The Supreme Court question must be resolved definitely and authoritatively by the courts alone, by the court that alone has jurisdiction to resolve it. We call on the Honorable Chief Justice to treat this as a matter of great public importance, warranting urgent scheduling. The Attorney General must be summoned before Parliament to account for his position. It is constitutionally unacceptable for the state's chief legal officer to actively argue against the statutory institution of the Republic in judicial proceedings without parliamentary accountability. The minority will table appropriate questions and, if necessary, move for a formal parliamentary inquiry. We call on President Mahama to come clean with Ghanaians. He cannot continue to claim publicly that he supports the OSP while his own Attorney General argues for its constitutional destruction at the High Court and the Supreme Court. The President must choose, and he must choose publicly. Does he stand with the OSP or he stands with the campaign to destroy the OSP?
A coalition of youth reform advocates is urging President John Dramani Mahama to release the full Constitution Review Committee report and present a clear roadmap for reform. Speaking in Accra, Democracy Hub's Ketchaf said a summary report is not enough for meaningful public engagement. He stressed that Ghanaians need access to the complete document to assess recommendations and contribute effectively to the reform process. Mr. Atengle argued that transparency and broad national consultation are critical if the new review is to reflect the will of citizens. The coalition is calling on government to outline timelines, phases, and stakeholder engagement plans for implementing proposed changes.
Following specific demands before His Excellency the President. First, we demand that the government publishes the full, unabridged report of the Constitutional Review Committee without reduction and without further delay, as indicated earlier, because of the cycle, the political cycle. Secondly, we demand that there is established within 1 week of this statement a multi-stakeholder constitutional reform implementation committee with a defined mandate, clear timelines, regional representation, and public accountability mechanisms. The composition of that committee must include structured youth participation at the decision-making level. Youth inclusion must be substantive not ceremonial. Thirdly, we advise the government against issuing a government white paper or executive position paper on this CRC recommendations prior to the conclusion of a structured national consultative process. We've had that instance,
National Chair of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, attribute falling farm gate prices to bumper harvest and ongoing economic adjustment. Speaking on the state of agriculture, Mr. Asiedu Nketia said increased crop yields this season have pushed up supply up, leading to lower prices for producers at the farm gate. He added that broader economic adjustments are also influencing pricing trends across the value chain. According to the NDC chair, interventions on storage, market access and value addition are expected to improve returns from farmers over time. However, he called for patience as government works to address structural challenges in agriculture.
Have now have been produced with high cost of inputs and you are not selling at a high price. We are aware that you are going through difficulties, but don't let that discourage you from farming in the next season, because government is working on the difficulties and very soon farming will become very, very profitable. We are already working to establish the mechanization centers. So you get mechanization services at very, very cheap prices. And then because the dollar is now cheaper, we will be importing chemicals and all the other things and be able to sell them to you also at very cheap prices. So what is happening now is just a transitional problem and it will get away very soon. I believe you have heard what is happening on the cocoa front. You have also heard what is happening on the cashew front. These are temporary events, and very soon with the solid policies that we are putting in place, this thing will be a thing of the past.
Beyond fuel shortages and old machines, a Ghanaian political analyst Yao Asani Tano says corruption in the energy sector is a major cause of doomsday. He argued that procurement breaches, inflated contract and mismanagement of power sector funds have weakened Ghana's electricity supply chain, contributing to recurring power outages. According to him, ending leakages in the sector is critical to guaranteeing reliable power and reducing costs to consumers. The comments are to ongoing public debate over the root causes of power challenges, with stakeholders citing fuel supply issues, their two independent power producers, and operational inefficiencies.
Corruption has been the bane. The main issue is Public Accounts Committee sitting. The attitude may be Sabe Lipa Baku at the Defense Ministry allegedly was receiving close to about 14 million Ghana cedis a month. Okay, Kambobo for a year is about 492 million Ghana cedis. Lipa Baku. Obi a board of the board chair, ECG. Obi a manager, ECG. She meters a whole while almost swab the so. A china must say assessor. Now can you see ma efficiency abba system no prepaid. It is interesting to note some of the prepaid no back on the car. We were prepaid our term. We were the car. Na sanka you to me a board. I'm a central share say yes postpaid and the other prepaid no. And you to ye board ye probably something person yes or man and can we not be complaining of say a being to a library and illegal connection and can be reduced to a very a high level. And then I am a board on my penku for Basso. And I'll continue to, as it were, praise him for that particular. It was not a government policy per se, but he came up with a strategy to tell all Ghanaians to change the onion bulbs that we were using. So, and when he started that project, CPP, na in opposition, I don't know. Sa kania hata we also aye shrine enche na ashufi. We bastardized it for a very long time, to the point that abanu eniyan and you say obeche chen free krempo, and then we are almost all of us using lead. Only mob will be right now. That particular policy, I don't know if it qualifies to be a policy, because it will be a bit tone. It was not part of their manifesto promise, but it will be a bit tone more. That up to date has reduced the consumption of energy in this country to a very high level. Some can as the sun box near that's what ABC ma and can energy and can do so can be worse, right? Into I see taking measures. Now, you're bold. I am happy about this 2,500 transformers. But Sanka, yes, governance is continuing. The Sanka baby buy and Konosu ye na from dear. Say, previous abai na NDC 2016 na okoye. Now personal to power badges a whole of the buy. Yensu yaba, yensu better power badges a whole of the yaba. Into Anka within the 16 regions no. Now can you power badges in all the 16 regions? Coupled with the various substation, a hydro one, a for instance solar, and other ones are energy mix not your one. But Honorable Samema Bai, after complaining about Ameri, what did we see? They moved part of Ameri to Kumasi.
The Africa Education Watch is calling for an allocation of at least 2% of the education budget to inclusive education. Executive Director Kofi Asari says urgent action is needed to address gaps in infrastructure and support for learners with disabilities at the pre-tertiary level. He argued that most schools lack ramps, accessible washrooms, learning materials, and trained special needs teachers. Without dedicated funding, he noted that children with disabilities remain excluded from quality education despite policy commitment. Africa Education Watch says stakeholder consultation show parents and school heads are struggling to support learners with disabilities due to limited resources and weak referral system.
Now, the key question is that what level of financing is required to make special education permanent? We need to get at least 2% of the education budget. We should be getting at least close to $1 billion, because we are doing 49 billion. 2% should be close to $1 billion. Okay, and that is what will ensure that we have more than 2 out of 10 children with disabilities enrolling. We are able to have more special schools at the secondary level, have more inclusive systems at the basic level, and then also support continuous professional development and training in all the areas that we do. Everything we discuss here today borders on money. Okay. The second thing is that, but the question is, are we here, inclusion experts, are we aware of what the money will be used for? Do you know what the money will be used for? Because I don't know, so you should know. If you don't know, then it means that we are disconnected from the fiscal side of it. Because it is one work to push and get budgetary allocations. And another thing, following through the fiscal allocation and ensuring that it translates into demonstrable evidence of impact.
The Catchment Area Community Alliance is calling for the termination of the Bogoso Pristia mining lease held by Health Goldfield Limited. citing failure to meet key obligations. Speaking in Accra, lawyer Martin Pebu urged the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources Ghana to revoke the lease. He argued that the company lacks the technical and financial capacity to operate the mine effectively.
Commitments, including a 500 million investment from Yilmadin Holdings, timely payment of employee entitlement and legacy debts, rapid infrastructure rehabilitation, and phased operational restart, Heave Goldfields has consistently failed to deliver. More than 16 months later, the underground mine remains flooded. The processing plant largely non-operational. The tailings storage facility is in a dangerous state, and critical equipment such as the crusher have not been procured. Promised payment to employees, SLATE, GRA, and local contractors remain largely outstanding, while illegal mining thrives in abandoned sections. Most alarmingly, Heave Goldfields Limited has encumbered the state's mineral rights with a 65 million Trafigura prepayment facility, creating unauthorized charges over national assets without parliamentary ratification or ministerial consent, in clear violation of the Constitution 1992 and the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703. This pattern of breaches, misrepresentation, reckless collateralizations, etc., mirror the failures that led to the termination of the previous operator, that's FGL. For the sake of the Prestia Renewed Valley communities, national revenue, and the integrity of Ghana's mining sector, we respectfully urge the Honorable Minister to exercise his powers under Section 68 of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, to terminate Heave Goldfields mining leases without further delay and initiate a transparent process for a genuinely capable investor. The people of Prestia deserve no less. Ghana's gold resources must serve Ghana first. Thank you.
In business, Ghana's renewed push to tap diaspora funding through bond instruments is facing fresh scrutiny, with lingering concern over the domestic debt exchange program casting a shadow over investor confidence. The caution comes despite strong momentum in remittance inflows and the Bank of Ghana's plan to channel diaspora funds into structured investment vehicles to support long-term development financing. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Johnson Asiama, has outlined proposals including diaspora bonds aimed at converting remittances into productive investment flows. But banking consultant Dr. Richmond Atwahin warns that while the numbers are encouraging, structural weakness and trust deficit remain a major hurdle. He notes that remittances have surged significantly, stressing that remittances in 2025 rose from 4.8 billion to 7.8 billion. However, he argues that Ghana is still not fully capturing the potential of these inflows due to weak tracking system and limited financial structuring. Dr. Atwahin insists that improved monitoring could reduce dependence on external capital markets, pointing to international examples. However, he cautions that investor trust remains fragile following debt restructuring exercise. while acknowledging Ghana's improving macroeconomic outlook. He stressed that credibility will be decisive for success. To sports, the excitement of match week 8 in Group A of the University of Ghana Corporate Football League was intense. The night began with a match between Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration (GIMPA) and Ghana Football Association (GFA). GFA aimed to take control right from the start. Their plan was clear and it paid off with strong performances from Augustine Quay and Eric Donko, each scoring 2 goals. Samoata added a consolation goal for Gimpa, but was not enough to change the outcome. The match ended 4-1 in favor of Ghana Football Association. The second match featured the University of Ghana against Boepa Authority. This game was tightly contested. Boepa took an early lead just 7 minutes in with a well-placed strike from Bright Ejekum. After that, Boepa strengthened their defense, ensuring that the University of Ghana could not score. The match finished with a close 1-0 victory for Boepa. Next was a fierce match between Goyo and the Ghana National Petroleum Authority Corporation. Both teams tested each other, but Goyo won by a narrow margin. Goals from Wesley Norte and Nana Kweku Forsen secured a 2-1 win, while Ghana National Petroleum Corporation Charles Asante responded with a spirited effort, keeping the match close. The evening also featured a match between Lancaster Accra and Stanbic Bank, where Divine Ajamli and Daniel Ejekum scored the winning goals for Lancaster. Their performance led to a solid victory, adding to the night's excitement. Finally, the most highly anticipated match of the evening pitted Ghana Armed Forces Officers Sports Club against the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. This was seen as a showdown between the two league contenders, and it met expectation. Both teams demonstrated strong defense, resulting in a hard-fought nil draw that left fans on the edge of their seats. In showbiz, Kwame Nsia Ampao, widely known as Ochiame Kwame, has received a 100,000 pledge from renowned entrepreneur and philanthropist Richard Ni Amakwe to support the promotion of his new song, Club. The pledge was made in a reaction video shared by the artist, where Kwe said, "I love this song and the lyrics. I want to support its promotion with 100,000. Ochiame Kwame released a rhythmic reggae tune, Club, to mark his 50th birthday. The song shines a spotlight on applauding those making remarkable contributions to society. Within a week of its release, Club has garnered widespread positive reaction from influencers across Ghana, Jamaica, the United States, South Africa, and other parts of the world. Ochiame Kwame, who had previously promised to build a pediatric ward at Manshia Hospital in Kumasi before his birthday, is expected to benefit from the support as he advances the project. His 50th birthday celebration was marked with a successful all-white event featuring performances that added to the memorable occasion. On global update, the Nigerian federal government has formally charged 6 individuals with treason and terrorism in connection with a purported conspiracy to oust President Bola Tinubu. The prosecution follows months of speculation regarding military stability in Africa's most populous nation. Documents filed at the Federal High Court in Abuja identify a diverse group of suspects, including a retired Major General and a 7 police inspector. The Attorney General filed a 13-count charge sheet naming Mohammed Ibrahim Ghana, a retired Major General, and Erasmus Echiaboa Victor, a retired Navy captain. Other defendants include Police Inspector Ahmed Ibrahim and Zekere Omoru, an electrician employed at the presidential villa. Bokar Goni, a civilian, and Sani, an Islamic cleric, round out the list of those currently in custody. The defendants are scheduled to appear before Justice Joyce Abdul Malik on Wednesday. According to the court document, the suspects conspired with one another to levy war against the state to overthrow the president of the Federal Republic. Prosecutors further alleged that the group conspired with one another to commit an act of terrorism. The government has also named Silva, former governor of the Bayelsa state and one-time oil minister, as a seventh suspect. Authorities accuse Silva of helping to conceal the plot and note that he remains at large. The prosecution has said that the defendant had prior knowledge of the treasonable act planned by alleged mastermind Colonel Mohammed Al-Hassan, but failed to inform the state. Beyond the attempt to overthrow the government, the charge includes the suppression of intelligence and money laundering. Prosecutors also allege the defendants were intent on destabilizing the state and failed to disclose information that could have helped prevent terrorism. The case suggests that significant sums of money changed hands to finance the operation, with the group accused of indirectly rendering support to the plotters. Under Nigerian law, treason remains a premier criminal offense carrying penalties as severe as life imprisonment. Rumors of instability first emerged in October 2025 when the government cancelled a military parade for Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary. Officials initially dismissed coup speculation and cited vague security threat. In early 2025, 16 officers were arrested for what the military called acts of indiscipline and breaches of service regulations. Despite initial denials, the government confirmed in January that several officers would stand trial for planning to overthrow the government. Shortly after this development, President Tinubu reshuffled the country's top military generals. It remains unclear if this High Court judge supplements or replace existing military tribunal proceedings. The internal crisis carries significant weight for the economic community of West African states. As a regional powerhouse, Nigeria's stability is viewed by neighbors like Ghana as the cornerstone of West African security. Just months ago, in December 2025, President Tinubu took a decisive lead in deploying forces to successfully thwart a coup attempt in Benin. The discovery of a plot within its own borders underscores the persistent threat of coup contagion that has already seen Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso exit the bloc to form their own military alliance. This legal battle unfolds against a backdrop of democratic fragility across West and Central Africa. And that's it on the morning news update. Thank you so much for sticking tuned to your radio. Do well to log onto all streaming platforms at GhanaTalks Radio for more news stories. I am Deborah Adoso. Good morning.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with GhanaTalks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With GhanaTalks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. GhanaTalks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. GhanaTalks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
Wachi.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare.
Regina Bless.
Deborah Adoso.
And I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Ghana Talks Radio, #1.
This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, your morning companion. Good morning to you once again, and you are welcome to the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show right here on Ghana Talks Radio. This is the second segment of the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, and as you know, as we come along with knowledgeable guests, we'll be delving into the topic for discussion this morning. Remember that you are streaming live on Facebook at Ghana Talks Radio, on YouTube at Ghana Talks Radio, and also on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Ghana Talks Radio. Do well to log on, send in your comments. We'll do well to read them and let's know what you also think about the issues we'll be discussing this morning. As part of the issues for discussion this morning, Anti-Corruption Crusader calls for decentralization of presidential powers, and also Minority urges Supreme Court to dismiss OSP case. So as part of the topic for discussion this morning, these are the main issues we'll be looking at this morning. And as you know it, our guests are already seated and they can't wait to delve into the issues and share their informed perspectives on matters that matter to you every morning right here on the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. And I must say that we are privileged enough to have Mr. Frimpong Henry, who is the NDC Communications team member, seated right here in the studios with us, and Mr. Enoch Fojo Ake, who is the NPP communicator, who will also be joining us shortly. But before he gets in, let's begin with Mr. Frimpong. Good morning to you, Mr. Frimpong, and you are welcome to the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
I don't know your name. Can you help me with
My
your
name is Esinam.
Esinam.
Yes,
you are
please.
Looking amazing this morning.
Thank you so much.
I
You look
believe
good yourself.
the researching agenda is making you look amazing this morning.
It's by the
And
grace of
I'm
God.
happy. Definitely, it's going to be by the grace of God for Ghana to have such a leader like John Dramani Mahama. I mean, coming in to rescue Ghana from such a bogus administration by the Nana Addo Dankwa and the MPP government. I'm happy that at least it's not just reflecting on just NDC members or just NDC sympathizers, but every ordinary Ghanaian, including MPP members. And I'm sure including you as a journalist, you're also enjoying the researching agenda by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. It's amazing to hear what Ghanaians are saying about this government. I mean, the last polls I heard from Musa Dankwa, I think 80% of Ghanaians are proud of or are happy at the rate Ghana is moving, the economic structures and every system that we've been able to set up since we took power on the 7th of January 2025. So we are on the right path. Ghanaians believe we are on the right path. We are heading towards the right path, and hopefully come 2028 they will give us another chance to lead this country, to save this country, and make sure at least we don't repeat a mistake that we did somewhere in 2016 and 2020. I believe strongly that with all the measures that we've put in place, if you look at our manifesto, I can boldly sit here on Ghana Talks Radio and say that we've been able to achieve close to 80% of all the things that we said that we will be doing.
Impressive.
We've been able to achieve all that, and I believe Ghanaians can agree with me on every aspect of it. Let's go to the economic structures. Dollar exchange rate, the dollar to CD A dollar used to be 17 cedis. Are you aware of that, Isinam?
Yes.
A dollar used to be 15 cedis, 16 cedis.
Yeah.
Today, a dollar is at what price? Help me with that. You are a journalist.
The last I checked was at 11 cedis.
11. I mean, somewhere around 11 cedis. But I mean, on the market is somewhere around 10 cedis, and it's all because of the good works of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. The establishment of the Gold Board has been very supportive to the economy of this country, and a lot of initiatives. I mean, if you look at inflation used to be a double-digit inflation. It used to be around 25% of inflation. Today, inflation is at 2%, 3%. Are you not happy? Inflation, if you talk about inflation, you probably wouldn't understand the effectiveness of inflation on the ordinary Ghanaian.
Well,
like the prices of the price of goods and services skyrocketing abnormally. So if today we have inflation at 3% digit, if you have inflation around a single digit figure, we all should be able to commend the government. We all should praise His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC fraternity for rescuing Ghana from such shame in this country. Emission from cars. Emission from cars. There were taxes on it. Unemployed youth who were betting, they were taking 10% of their winning bonuses. Is Akufo-Addo and the MPP not ashamed of themselves? Well, in this same country, let me land on a good note. In this same country, they had to introduce electronic levy on Ghanaians. Introduce electronic levy on Ghanaians, sending money to your loved one. Isinam, we are being taxed on it. A number of issues. But today, all those obnoxious taxes have been taken off. All those bogus taxes have been taken off. Those burdens on Ghanaians have been taken off. Today, a liter of fuel is around 10 cedis. A liter of fuel used to be around 17 cedis. A number of things. A list of them. But I'm sure your time is not enough for me to list all that. But I believe Ghanaians are happy. I believe the ordinary citizen of this country is not disturbed or is not sad as they used to be some years ago under the administration of the NPP. And I'm sure you'll be talking about the OSP's issue.
Yeah, the issue of the OSP.
So special greetings to all Ghanaians and to my godmother, Honorable Joyce Bawa Mokhtari. Okay. I think she's been very supportive to me and other people in our party. So I can't sit on any platform without saying a very big thank you or say hi to her wherever she is, supporting the president.
Thank you so much to our godmother.
You're welcome.
Right, you made a couple of submissions, and I'll begin from the point you said that 80% of Ghanaians are actually happy with the works of this current administration. What happened to the 20%? Why do you think they are not happy?
Well, mind you, we are living in a democratic dispensation. Ghana is a democratic, is being ruled in a democratic way. So you can't tell me that we still don't have enemies of this country. There is a saying that there are people who don't believe in the growth of their lives or their country. And I can always associate the MPP to this statement. Definitely, we have close to 10% or 5%. Whenever we go for elections, we have 4 million people. Whether the government is doing right or wrong, they will still stand behind MPP. So definitely, I mean, that 20% is some way, somehow attributed to the MPP and some enemies of this country. If you are a living being and you don't have an enemy, and woe to you. Because as a living creature, absolutely there's no way you are going to please everyone. Definitely you are going to step on toes. Do you think the people, the families of Gift Yoware, they are happy with the NDC taking their daughter to court? Do you think Dubuahin, do you think they are happy they are taking their family member to court? The likes of Wuntumi, do you think they are all happy? So they are all part of the formation of that 20%, and it's all because of we trying to do something good in life in general. If you want to, I mean, move to a higher level in life, definitely there are some people that you offend, there are some toes that you step on. I mean, it may not be intentional. It may not be intentional, but I mean, it's meant to happen. So I'll always say that 20% of the people who are not happy. With regards, I said that with regards to Musa Dankwa's post and data. So I believe they are all some way somehow related to the MPP.
Related to the MPP.
Yeah.
Right. You also made mention of inflation.
Yes.
Where we've seen inflation at a single digit.
Yeah.
And I think it's been a while we actually saw that.
Yeah.
But the issue on ground is people are actually not seeing the impact of the inflation.
Who are those people who are not seeing the impact of this inflation? I can boldly say that Ghanaians are seeing the impact of that inflation.
So where are the complaints coming from?
Let me give you reasons why Ghanaians are seeing that. If in 2023, when inflation used to be somewhere around, let's say 20%, 30% there, I think it was more than that. I'm not so sure about the figure. And if I imported a car worth, let's say, 100,000 Ghana cedis, and today inflation is at 3%, if I sell that car, or if I sell that car at that amount of 100,000 Ghana cedis, I run at a loss. Because the exchange rate has changed. The exchange rate at which I bought that car for 17 cedis to $1 has changed. So if I sell that car with a new exchange rate, that's the 10 cedis to $1, what happens to that 7 cedis that is on the price of the car? I will have to sell that car at that price before I can get my money back to import another car with the exchange rate of 10 cedis to $1. So that is the basic analysis here. If I'm not able to do that, I run at a loss. So majority of Ghanaians who imported products, majority of Ghanaians who provided services at the exchange rate of 17 cedis, 15 cedis in this country, they will still need their monies back. Hence, the prices of these goods and services will still be at that same point till they are able to clear all those goods that they imported somewhere 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Unfortunately, they didn't get buyers because the system was so hard to the extent that people didn't even get the chance, the financial blessings to even buy stuff. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
You cannot say that because inflation is at 3%, I should sell my 100,000 car at 50,000. It's a big loss to me. Every businessman understands. If you go to Makola, the businesswomen and the businessmen, they understand the situation they find themselves. They've imported goods worth of $100,000. If I'm not able to clear those goods all out, I cannot reduce the prices of the goods that I brought in. And the same thing applies to where they repair cars and all that. Abosokai. So we are in touch with all these people because we know how effective or how economy affects them. So we are not here to play games or play gimmicks with anybody to say that, oh, the inflation is at 3% and the dollar is at 10 cedis, but still things are expensive. It's because of what we came to meet. We came to meet so many chaotic economic expressions, and we needed to clear all of them in just a space of 14 months. 14 months in power, 14, 15 months in power. Look at the development. Look at all the things that we are doing in power. With regards to the big push agenda, with regards to a number of projects that we've started. By the end of 2027, I'm saying on your platform, put me on record, Ghana will look like New York in the world, in the sight of the world. I'm saying this on record. I'm sure I'm on TV and I'm on radio. People are listening to me. My name is Henry Frimpong. By the end of 2027, it will be difficult for you to see an untarred road in this country.
Okay, so the roads will make government will make sure that the roads will be properly constructed.
Exactly. So that is what we are doing. That's what Mr. Honorable Kwame Abuja is doing. And let's all support him. Let's all stop listening to these naysayers talking about sourcing and all that. Let's look into the issue. Let's listen to the ordinary people of this country and go down into issues and stop listening to lies and people who don't really, have Ghana at heart. If you have Ghana at heart, you won't bath in the skies at one hour at the cost of £20,000, $20,000, all because you are the president. But today, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo cannot bath in the skies again. Why? Because he's no more a president. But the sitting president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is using his brother's jet without costing a dime to the taxpayers' money. Let's give praise and special blessings to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and the NDC.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Henry Frimpong. Yeah. Before we get into the issue, today in Sunyani, the NPP are holding a demonstration themed Yensuro Ehunehuno. And this is as a result of the claim intimidation from the current administration. They are using public officials, would I say public officials or national security, to actually intimidate their communicators. And so due to that, they're embarking on a demonstration this morning, today, in Sunyani, and the theme is Yensuru. Do you see that as an intimidation where someone uses foul languages or passes a false information, and the person is being picked up, and they say that is a current administration that is using the national security or security agencies to intimidate these critics?
Well, special greetings to your viewers and listeners once again. I believe we are living in a democratic dispensation. As I said earlier on, it's okay. I'm not the type who will go so strict by not allowing my other party, other people in the other party, to also voice out their frustrations and say all that they want to say. It's meant to happen. If you are not guided by your words, or if you are not guided by your utterances, and you just sit on any platform to say anything about people, I think there are consequences to it. For you to, they are doing that because of the arrest of their organizer, the regional organizer, because he made pictures of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Sam George, Honorable Felix Fosukwachi, wearing gay colors and being, dressed like women. These are people holding public office. These are people with high values in life. These are people with families. These are people with people are looking up to. You understand? So I'm not going to speak against what they are doing. As I said, it's a democratic dispensation, and you have every right to say all that you want to say. You have every right to demonstrate, go all out, to say all that you want to say. It's fine. But for you to disrespect the personality of the first gentleman of this country, disrespect the personality of the first gentleman, not just the first gentleman, the government spokesperson and the minister of communications. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's speak truth to power. These are things of of the lowest level. These are issues of the lowest level for us to even sit here to discuss. I believe they have every right to demonstrate. They have every right to do whatever they want to do, whatever they want to do to bring the attention of the government on their grievances and all that. I believe it's a system that we've all created. Me personally, I went on a number of demonstrations when we were in opposition. I was part of the team that did that.
But do you think that's the best way of addressing issues?
Well, as I said, it's a democracy. You have your best way may not be my best way.
Right.
So maybe someone's best way is to go to court. Someone's best way is to hit on the streets. Someone's best way is to approach people who are in charge of the issue that he wants to address. There are all ways and means of trying to address issues. So I won't say that they are wrong, and I won't say that they are right, because going that tangent of disrespecting leader, political leaders. I think it's high time we put some form of decorum and respect, give some form of respect to our leaders. And I would say they are on the right direction. Whoever is at fault needs to be punished rightfully. Whoever didn't do anything right needs to be punished. And we all need to know our words well, or be guided by our words well whenever we sit on any platform. There's a lesson to not just MPP, but we as communicators of the NDC too. I think we also have to be guided by whatever we say on radio and whatever we write on social media, and make sure that we have facts to whatever we are saying, we have resources to back whatever we are saying, so that in case anything comes up, a court warrant or anything comes up, we will be able to prove that. Now you are saying that with that picture that he posted, he's saying that the president is gay. He's saying that Felix Ofosu-Kwakye is gay, Sam George is gay. That is the highest level of disrespect.
But they also mentioned that during
their
tenure, there was also the same precedence of
highest level
also.
of this. You see, during their tenure, did any NDC member come out with any picture to disrespect Nana Akufo-Addo? It was Tilapia. Tilapia is like TV3, or let's say 3 News. Exactly. So they come up with those pictures and all that. And it's an independent body. They are not affiliated to the NDC. So you can't sit on any platform to say anything or any different thing to tarnish our president's image. Whatever they are doing, I think they have the right to do that, and they also have to go through whatever they are going through, because for you to disrespect this the sitting president of this country, we cannot take that for granted. And this LGBTQ that you are talking about is not even a bill that has been passed by Parliament yet. It was a bill being passed by Parliament which needed just a pen and a paper by the sitting president, Nana Dankwa or Akufo-Addo, but he never did that. How do you then now come tag the president that he should, upon all the chaos and the things that you cause, he should leave all that and just concentrate on someone who wants to sleep with his fellow man, or a lady who wants to sleep with his fellow lady? That's their choice. I will never even allow the president to even waste our time or spend time and go and sign that, or go and pressure the parliament to do that. There are a lot of issues that we need to pay much attention to, and that's what we need to do.
Right.
So I think it's a step in the right direction. Let them demonstrate. The law too will take its course.
Right. Please, his name is Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Well, by their
not
deeds,
the other one you
by
mentioned.
their deeds.
So please, I'm begging you. Not here. I'm begging you.
By their deeds.
I don't have court money. So you just call the name as it is.
This is not about court money,
okay.
But by their deeds we shall know the fruits that they bear. I mean, if you want me to retract that statement, I do that with a whole heart.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Henry. Right. At this juncture, we are going to be delving into our topic for discussion.
Right.
For our first topic, anti-corruption crusader calls for decentralization of presidential powers. An anti-corruption advocate in Ghana has renewed calls for the decentralization of presidential powers, arguing that excessive authority concentrated in the presidencies undermining accountability and enabling corruption. Emmanuel Wilson Jr., chief crusader of the Crusaders Against Corruption, is urging a national conversation on reforms to Ghana's governance structure. He maintains that the current constitutional framework grants the president too much control, weakening checks and balances and limiting the independence of key state institutions. According to him, Ghana's democratic progress depends on distributing power across independent bodies rather than concentrating it in a single office. He warned that the existing system allows the president to appoint and influence multiple arms of government, creating conditions that can fuel corruption. The campaigner is therefore calling for a review and a full implementation of recommendations from the Constitutional Review Commission, particularly
those relating to executive authority. He believes such reforms will strengthen institutions, reduce political interference, and improve public trust in governance. He further appealed to civil society groups, traditional leaders and rulers, and citizens to support the push, stressing that decentralizing power is critical to building a transparent and a more accountable system. So this is from a civil society group, the Anti-Corruption Crusader, and they are calling for a decentralization of presidential power. They say that it looks as if the president has too much power. Even when it comes to appointing people, the president has the final say. Even when it comes to appointing the leaders on the cases of anti-corruption bodies, agencies, the OSP, the Attorney General, the president actually appoints all these people. And when it happens like that, there's a sort of interference in these offices, and checks and balances are not properly done. So due to that, they are calling for a decentralization of presidential power.
Well, listen, I strongly believe, the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana establishes Ghana as a unitary state with a strong executive presidency. I mean, it's a democratic dispensation, so everybody or everyone have the right to say all that he wants to say. But I want us to go into our constitution,
right,
which gives the president that authority as the first gentleman of this country. I mean, Article 57, it says that the president exercises executive authority either directly or through subordinates. That does not make him so powerful. He elects people to take control of things that he wants to delve in. Article 58, if you move on.
But he still has the final say, doesn't he?
How so in a scenario like Gold Board, how does the president have a final say if I'm a CEO of Gold Board and I am making sales for the ordinary citizens, I'm putting profit, I'm making the exchange rates, the dollar to CD with my sales reflect in favor of the Ghana CD?
Not a sale per se, but even appointing the particular person.
Yes, but if I've been appointed by the president, doesn't mean I should, sorry to say, lick the ass of the president. I'm here to serve Ghana. He himself is there to serve Ghana. So anybody in his right senses who is working to favor Ghana is the product. The president is just a term. It's just a 4-year term. If he electing me, if I don't perform very well, or if I don't do anything well, it affects him.
Right. Let's use the LGBTQ. Sorry. Right. Let's use the LGBTQ bill as an example. In as much as all Ghanaians are actually fighting for that bill to be passed.
Yeah.
You made an example where the previous administration that bill was actually passed. It was left for the president to actually assent it for it to be, called a law. But he didn't.
He didn't. There are 3 arms of government. That alone tells you that the president don't have the sole say or the authority to govern this country. We have the executive. The executive is meant to interpret the laws, and we have the lawmaking body as the parliament, lawmaking body. So if I am making the laws and I present it to you as the sitting president, you have every right or you have every authority to look at it and assent to it or decline to it. But it doesn't make you the sole authoritative person in this country.
But is the president held accountable for all of these?
Yes, people voted against Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo based on LGBTQ, the Christian fraternity, the Christian religious space. They saw it as something that the president needed to work on, but he decided not to do that. His press secretary, I've forgotten the name, his secretary, the then secretary, executive secretary, wrote a letter back to Parliament to tell them that the president is not going to sign, so they should take back their bill. That's what happened in this country.
Because that's the power he has.
You still don't get the connection I'm trying to get. The connection I'm trying to make is that yes, you may have the authority to be the as the president of this country to sign a bill or not to sign a bill, but there is a lawmaking body that made that whole bill. How do you call it? Came up with that whole bill. So for the president to not to sign it, there's something we call checks and balances.
Yes.
So probably it may be from his own interest. Probably it may be for his let's say party's interest. Maybe it could be for the interest of this country, because there are consequences, some form of consequences to this LGBTQ if we sign it. When we go to the global market, things may not favor Ghana, and this is on record. That countries that are developing countries that still need help from other countries, if they do anything against the will of these global markets and international organizations, definitely the help and support that we get from them, they are going to cut it short, or they are going to maybe clear it off. Reason why every president is being careful when it comes to LGBTQ. So in the space of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, he could have signed it because Parliament did all the work. But in this situation, there is no bill. So we have the judiciary to interpret the law to us. We have the legislative body to make laws to us. And we have the executive instrument to also head affairs at the presidency. So it's more of a checks and balances. I will never agree to it that the presidents have the autocratic, or the president have the highest form of leadership or the highest form of power to make everything by his own. If you look at our constitution, the reality is that the constitution already provides administrative decentralization. Example, the local government structures. We have people who are working there. We have MMDCAs who are working there. We have district chiefs, executives who are working there. Before it even gets to the president. So even if powers are decentralized, corruption can simply become decentralized corruption. I don't know the reason why he's calling for the decentralization.
But when you say a decentralized corruption, what do you mean?
I mean, if I am corrupt as a president, like Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo,
I can't. Please.
I have basis to that. That one, leave it to me. I have reasons to that. I can prove that on any platform. So if I am corrupt as the sitting president of this republic, I can make my people corrupt too. Why is the country after Ken Ofori-Atta? The country is after Ken Ofori-Atta because of the deeds and the things that he did. So let's be guided by all that we say. So I will never sit on this platform to say that decentralization is something or something of old or something that we cannot work on. I believe we all have a system to you see our people from the other parties, they are never time conscious, they don't respect Ghanaians, they just decide to behave anyhow in life. Reason why today they find themselves in opposition, and I believe Ghanaians who are watching us today will know the reason why they find themselves in opposition. We give you 8 a.m., 8:30, you come at 9 a.m. How do you expect Ghanaians to give you such power to rule this country?
Why are we going to?
What I'm saying is that with what you are saying, decentralization is not something bad. I will never say it's something bad, but I will say that for us to take some powers from the president, it will curtail his authority, and some way somehow may not give the president the chance to lead this country with so much authority. So I think that was what I would say for now and all that.
Right. Joining us right here in the studios is Mr. Enoch Fojo Ake. Mr. Ake.
Yes.
Can you get closer to the microphone? Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm blessed and highly favored.
I can see that. I'm fine. I like your haircut.
Thank you.
You're looking dashing. and your Fugu. Indeed, Fugu Wednesday.
Respect what their own president said. Who am I? I have to respect. Even the president is even going against his own words. How much more followers of the president?
Who is going against his own words?
The president says wear Fugu on Wednesday, and you are here with
Kaftan. So if someone wears Fugu on Wednesday, doesn't make that person wiser than the person who didn't wear Fugu? Who didn't wear Fugu? Are we just supposed to wear Fugu on Wednesdays?
I knew you were going to. You were not going to let it slide.
Can't you wear Fugu on a Monday? Can't you wear Fugu on a Tuesday? Don't we have established on fact that every Friday we should put on African print? So if I put on African print on a Monday, does it make me senseless? Does it make me? I
don't think that's what he said.
What is he saying? He's saying that the president said we should wear Fugu on Wednesdays, and
he never said anything.
And I'm not wearing Fugu on a Wednesday.
Or something.
You see, their black mentality comes with what they are wearing. That's why they even wear black when nobody's dead.
Hey,
when we are not mourning.
Is that how you are?
No, let's speak. Let's be factual on whatever we are saying here. If no one is mourning and you wear black in a traditional system, it is a sign that you have a black mentality.
When you don't,
it's a system that you have a black mentality. What shows that you are mourning here? Give us substantive reasons to show that you are mourning here.
Do you want to see him crying?
No, he should at least he should say something for us to know that he's mourning.
This is the
for you to sit here and my brother, listen, you came in late. You gave you 8:30. You came in at 9. So you need to respect the Ghana Talks Radio, respect the presenter and everyone involved. So what I'm saying is that it's not about you wearing Fugu on a Wednesday. It's not about you just wearing any attire on any other day. It's about how you impact the ordinary people of this country. Whatever you are here to say, how does it attribute or how does it affect the ordinary taxpayer? How does it affect the ordinary Ghanaian? That's what you need to. You have to.
Right.
Pay attention
to. He's already here, and our time is.
And next time, tell him to be on point with regards to time. We are time conscious human beings, so you can't.
He actually comes. He actually comes early. I think it's one of those.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That we all need to be time conscious.
All right.
In all that we do.
Thank you, Mr. Henry. Mr. Ake.
Yes.
I hope you're okay.
Oh, I am.
You have
fine.
Yeah. Right.
You know, I will definitely retaliate.
Yeah.
For now, my network is.
Just try and be nice today.
Oh, I'm always nice, unless you don't know.
Right. Your people are demonstrating today.
Oh, yes. Very important. You see, okay, you want to ask something?
Yeah.
You see, the 1992 Constitution of this country. In fact, first of all, pardon me, let me greet people listening to us from far and near. This is one of the nicest morning show ever you could ever get. So when you have people tuning in to listen, I think it is important that we greet them and we let them know that we appreciate them joining us. See, the 1992 Constitution, creators of that Constitution knew, sometimes I always say they knew what the future would bring. That is why they were careful when they were drafting the Constitution. That is why in the 1992 Constitution it perfectly states we have a lot of articles talking about human rights and then freedom. And that is why even Article, I think 129 of the Constitution has given that mandate to the High Court to listen to issues of fundamental human rights, meaning that nobody can stampede on the right of you and I sitting here. So when we get to a point where we believe that democracy is progressive, we should be moving on. And when people speak about democracy in Africa, Ghana always finds a spot in there because of how we've been able to come about from 1957 till now, with coup and then Republican, then democracy till now. From 1992 till now, you and I can attest to the fact the nice democracy we have. But you see, when we have people who come and then want to take us a little back to what our worst nightmares we experience in this country with regards to coup and want to run the country like we are still under a military rule. It paints a picture out there. And you see, the issue I even have is these people who are doing this are the same beneficiaries of what they are prosecuting people for. Yesterday, you arrested Baba Amando, who is an MPP communication director for the New Patriotic Party in Sunyani, on the premise that he has posted a picture defaming the president and the, how do you call it, Minister for Communication with LGBTQ colors. Fair enough, we all know that it is against the constitution. But you see, in law, when someone defames you, it's not criminal, it is a civil matter. You have to take me on. If you feel that no, what this gentleman has done to me, I'm not happy, he has defamed me, he has sent a picture out there signaling that I look like an LGBTQ person, I will have to take it as a civil matter and sue you in court to come and answer.
Right.
But where people in government want to use the little or the powers we have given to them to coerce people and to turn people upside down and to use the law to pull the ears of people, I think we have a problem with that. And you know the problem I have? We have similar posts. It is not different to the same post of NDC people. And this time around, the person posted President Ekufuado, posted Dr. Baumia, posted Afenyo Makin, and posted one minister as at then MPP's time. 4 pictures with LGBTQ. My sister, did we arrest Anam Perry? Was Anam Perry arrested with what he did? He even brought 4 pictures of top NPP people when we were in government with LGBTQ. He was not arrested because the president of the day understood that no, once you are running a government, you've put yourself out to face such challenges. Right. So if today Sunyani is going out to demonstrate, I think they have that right, and it is important for them to go out and speak, wanting to support Confancha by instead. Enough of this intimidation, and you think this will not put us down, it will force us to do more.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Akin. Now on to the main issue. Anti-corruption crusader.
I thought you were going to give me some few minutes for me to
no,
please. What
no, please. Anti-corruption.
You're not going to give me that.
No, please. Right, I think it's yeah. Anti-corruption crusader calls for decentralization of presidential powers. Whilst you were not in, we already started the topic. So an anti-corruption advocate in Ghana has renewed calls for decentralization of presidential powers, arguing that excessive authority concentrated in the presidency is undermining accountability and enabling corruption. So they're advocating that there should be a decentralization of presidential power. It should be limited.
I will agree on one angle and I will disagree on one angle.
Let me hear you.
One, let me start with constitutional law. When you do constitutional law, we have something called constitutionalism.
Okay.
It means that the powers given to the 3 arms of government, we put pause on them.
Pause?
Yes, we put pause. You pause them so that there will not be...
like to halt them?
No, not to halt them. As if you want to do this, but you cannot do it straightforward.
Okay, so they are limited.
Yes.
Right.
So that it will prevent arbitrariness, capricious use of powers. That is what constitutionalism is. So when you check 1992 constitution, we have a lot of examples in there. Before a president can appoint a minister, what does it has to do? He has to pass through what? Parliament. So when you look at J.H. Mensah versus the Attorney General, when they sued that no, the President Rollins cannot send people straight, appointing them and they become ministers. It has to pass through Parliament for approval. Prior approval. That is constitutionalism. It is limiting the powers of the president. Again, when the president or the executive and the legislature does anything in contradiction with the constitution has given that powers to the judiciary. The judiciary to sit into that matter and then look at it. So today when you sue that no, President Mahama has done this and that, it is in contradiction with the constitution, they have given the powers to the judiciary And the judiciary, when it finds out that what the president has done is wrong, can call it null and void. Okay. So there is pauses in everywhere. Judiciary checking legislature, legislature checking judiciary. Today, when President Mahama appoints how do you call it, Chief Justice, it will pass through Parliament for approval. Yeah, so on one angle, constitutionalism is serving as checks, is serving as pauses on the powers, because you and I know that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So with that, I would say constitutionalism has a role that is playing, because if not constitutionalism, I bet you by now people are showing off their powers and all that, but it is serving as pauses on all his powers. On another angle, when he's saying that accountability and corruption, I will side with him, because if today the president will have the power to appoint the OSP, Attorney General, and all that, and these are people who are supposed to, because if you check the notion of the creation of the office of the special prosecutor, it says that no, we have an Attorney General. The Attorney General is a government appointee, just like the OSP, but the Attorney General serves the government of the day. It serves the government of the day. So no, let's get an independent body that will be very independent and will look into matters of corruption, and will do that without fear, because he does not have masters to serve. But again, here comes the case that I am appointing you to be there. The Chief Justice, I am appointing you to be there. So to some extent, it is at the discretion of the president to select whom he wants to be there. Right. So if there is a call that no, let's decentralize that powers, that give the president the opportunity to appoint certain people, I think I will side. Because if you want corruption, you will see it to corruption as here. Some of these things should be far from political, how do you call this thing? Auditor General, far from we shouldn't come close to politics. Its appointment should be something that should be different from the way we appoint politicians into arms of government. So I think it is a good call in the right direction, because if tomorrow we open up that office of the special prosecutor, people who want, we've brought out criteria we are looking for, and we have 100 people coming to apply, then we have an independent body sitting to look into it to select the best out of it. I'm not sure that person will become a puppet to any government. They will not respond to any government, and they will be fearless to do whatever they want to do. So I think on that call I agree. On the corruption and accountability call to decentralize, I agree. But when it comes to other powers, I think constitutionalism has already checked that for us.
Right. So would you say that another body should be set aside to appoint the OSP and
it should be
anti-corruption agency?
It should be far from political. Yes, SRAJ, OSP, IOCO, and all that. I think it shouldn't come from the politicians.
From the politicians. Right. And you agree that this is actually affecting the independency of these anti-corruption bodies?
Oh, you and I agree. It is important. You and I agree.
Right.
That it is really affecting. Because people want to do the role of what the government is. I appointed, I'll call you in my office. This guy is going around parading, showing some cars. Get him, and then let's give him some small distance. And then he's there. But once the person has gone through a scrutinized process devoid of politics and has been given that position on merit of his criteria, on his CV and what he possesses, I'm not sure that you can call that person anywhere and tell that person that, gentleman, come and do this. No. The person knows that I'm an OSP, I'm a criminal law expert, I am this. So I do not respond to you. You will even be shy to call that person.
Thank you so much, Mr. Akim. Mr. Frimpong, would you say that decentralizing the presidential powers can actually reduce corruption?
Well, first of all, my brother made a whole lot of ludicrous assertions. He made some absurd claims about these are things that he said I wasn't happy about, so I will need to clear it before I speak on that. I mean, about the demonstration going on in Sunyane. My sister, were you not here when Oliver Baker-Vamawa got arrested somewhere in 2022 for protesting in this country? Where was his voice? What did he say about that? We had people like Amma Governor, a law student, demonstrating all because of face the country demonstration, all because of Galamsey. Where was this young guy's voice? He never uttered a word on Twitter or any of his social media handles. But today he thinks someone cladding the sitting president, the first gentleman of this country, his ministers, cladding them in gay colors, is something approved and something that we can all sit around and just be laughing about. Let's be serious in this country. How can you just say that because the president, because Nana Addo Dankwa, we didn't do anything, so we should all sit down and not do anything? Really? Ama Governor and other people went on demonstration. They spent 2 weeks. Read my lips. They spent 2 weeks in jail because they went out to demonstrate. Is Ama Governor related to the MPP, to the NDC? Is Oliver Baker-Vamawa related to the NDC? To the extent that even journalists, Captain Smart, some of them got arrested all because they were speaking the truth in this country. Where was this guy's voice? What did he say about that? Was he not in this country when all these people got arrested? So let's be truthful to all that we say, and let's stop these preposterous claims and ridiculous statements on all that. Let's be honest with ourselves. We have a country to govern, and we have a first gentleman to respect. Let's give respect to who is due, who it's due to, and not just say things that are of low standards and all that. I believe that we all have the right to speak our minds, but to say something to disrespect your president, I mean, come on. How can you tag the president with gay colors? How can you tag the minister of government communications with gay colors? Let's be honest with ourselves and stop all these ludicrous assertions on all these fallacious statements. Onto the main issue. I think, as I said earlier on, I think I spoke on it before he came around. I think decentralization is something that I believe it's not a negative on its own and it's not a positive on its own. Because already we have 3 arms of government. I mean, that makes checks and balances very effective. I mean, if you don't understand the law, you can go to the judiciary for interpretation. If you want to make any law, you go to the parliament for that. And there's executive instruments and all that. So on so many angles, you can't speak against it. But I cannot sit here and say that the president have the highest authority in this country, because that's why we have the MMDCEs, we have the district chief executives, we have the assemblymen and women in our local areas who are also representing the president at all those local levels. It's a positive direction on some aspects, and on a different aspect it's also a negative aspect on it. Because how can the president not know the person in charge of finance in this country? So imagine we elect someone like Ken Ofori-Atta as the finance minister under this government. How do you think things will be? Someone like Ken Ofori-Atta. I mean, it's a clear sign that.
But he was a former finance minister.
Today, why can't he come to his own home country? Why is he somewhere?
Right. Aside from the other institution, let's look at the corruption aspect of it. The president appointing people to head the anti-corruption agencies. Do you think that if these powers are being decentralized, it's going to reduce corruption?
Well, that's why I said decentralization doesn't erase corruption.
No, right. But for that particular aspect of corruption, of appointing corruption, just as Mr. Ake said, that it would have been appropriate if the president doesn't even get to appoint these people at all, but a special body should be created to appoint.
A perfect example would be Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo electing Martin Kaiser Amidu as the director of the special prosecutor. Martin Amidu is known to be an NDC member, but Nana Addo Dankwa saw some respect in him to elect him as the officer of the special prosecutor. Now, why didn't things turn around very right? Martin Amidu now came out to say that the president who elected me to occupy this office is known as a mother serpent of corruption. let's listen to this very carefully. The president who elected me is now telling me that, the president who elected me, I have things that shows that when it comes to corruption, you cannot do away with such a man. So now, if you decentralize it and make it and take that authority from the president, how does it affect corruption in this country?
But if the president gets to appoint these people to, does that make them independent?
At least it's not about the independent nature of the whole issue. I think it's about the development nature and how it affects the ordinary people of this country. If the president has elected Casey Lato-Forson and he's working under the instructions of the president and is favoring the ordinary people of this country, what's wrong with that? Today, $1 to CD is at 10 cedis. Today, inflation is at 3%. A liter of fuel and all the economic structure shows that things are in the right direction, yet being appointed by the president. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. I believe that we giving some form of authority to the president helps us to blame him. That's why we're all blaming another Dan Kwaku-Fado when things went very bad, because he appointed Ken Ofori-Atta. He appointed majority of his ministers and all the CEOs and all the people there. So I believe that decentralization on its own has its negatives and at the same time have its positives. So you cannot speak so much of it, because one way or the other it helps. As it helps, I mean, it gives other people the chance, people who are not really affiliated to political parties, also the chance to lead this country or serve in other aspects of this country. But to say that it's the best way to go, we are living in a democratic dispensation, and I believe the 1992 Constitution have that authority to help us know the way forward. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Henry.
Let me come in before that.
Before my question.
Yes, I've been wanting to understand the position my brother wants, but you see, I think it is important that as young people, when we are speaking, when you see that your brother wants to go on an angle which you think is not the best, you also offer your advice. Sometimes when they give out such topics like this, when it comes to issues of corruption and accountability, we should be careful with how we speak about it. It is not everything that you have to politicize. I can play that politics more than you. Let me finish with my point. I think when you were speaking, I was very quiet.
But he's saying I'm playing politics with
Let me make my point.
I think it will be fair
when you spoke about
are not on fact.
Mr. Frempo, I think it will be fair for us to listen.
Let's listen to him.
When
but
you
shouldn't say that
about
I'm playing politics with
or
anything.
what have you. I could have also equally mentioned how do you call it? Stadium Tamaklo.
Yeah.
Or no put a sentence and so
it's your decision.
You
You
understand?
have every right to do that.
But you see, when we have such topics like this, at the long run, it affects the ordinary Ghanaian, because when you have an independent body, whom its powers is being taken from, to go and give to a politically exposed office to now handle its issues, and then all its cases it has handled, you are calling that those cases are null and void, and then the politically exposed office should now take over all such issues. I think it is one that when you are speaking about it, you should be a little passionate, so that you do not end up going into an angle which will seem some way. Because
I gave Matsinamidu being appointed by the sitting.
Fair enough, but what I'm saying is that you sit here and you speak about Ken Ofori-Atta. Charlie, on a retirement. Yes,
look at what.
On a retirement.
What
so if you sit here and continue to speak about Ken Ofori-Atta when you have a fugitive in your camp,
who's that fugitive?
whom 2 years you've not been able to go and bring her, you're sentencing. So a crime for she's a thief.
Fugitive?
Mention
the
name.
Tamaklo. So why didn't you?
And you are not.
Why didn't you bring her to Ghana when you were in power?
Just look at that.
But you had that authority.
You are speaking about Ken Ofori-Atta on another angle, and another angle you are seconding someone who took a Jedifosika Maslock money and decided to spend and has been sentenced.
Someone took the money of pensioners, bondholders. That one you think it's wrong for us to speak about it. Speak about it, but you have every right to speak about Sedinam Tamaklo. You see how the double standards of our MPP guys are working here.
Right,
I wouldn't
you,
sit. I will not just sit down for him to say things that are not true.
Mr. Ake, lastly, before we move on to the next topic, how would the president be held accountable aside voting him out of power in case we see that some things are just not going right?
It is how you've answered yourself. Vote him out of power. That is
the only way?
But you cannot see a sitting president. Are you aware?
Yeah.
Even if he leaves office, you know how many years it takes before you can.
10 years.
Yes, before you can sue the president. So how can you hold him accountable?
But don't you think that particular law should even be properly looked at after 10 years?
I like the one that when he's a sitting president, you cannot sue. Because it puts the president and the whole country in disarray. But after 7, I think it is important that
it should be looked at.
Yes.
10 years.
Should come and
it's
answer.
Too far.
Should come and answer.
Don't
10 years, there's no way.
No wounds way. What are you going to?
It should be looked at.
Right.
Constitutional Review Committee. I don't know if this is part of what.
It's actually part of it.
It's part of
yes, it's actually part of it. So they said
President will 2 million. That is why President Akufo-Addo said, "My power, let me give some to you people to elect DCs." Then our brothers, hey, no. You should appoint it. President should appoint DCs. This is what is happening. President is not in Sefiri also, but the president should appoint somebody to become a DC in Sefiri also. How would he get you somebody? He's sitting at Jubilee House. You only select someone or names they will mention to him. Am I lying? Oh, my sister, am I lying? So if the president said it is my power, let me reduce some and then give the Ghanaians the opportunity to now vote for district assembly, district chief executive, metropolitan, and how do you call it? I think it was in the call in the right direction because you are with them. And you see, let's make this point clear. It is not parliamentarians who develop country. How do our constituency so? They only represent us in parliament. The power to develop is with the district chief executive because they are given the amount to do it. And then President Akufo-Addo told you Ghanaians that it is my power to appoint, but I want to delegate that powers to you Ghanaians to vote for them. And then because you see, for them, once it's not coming from them, it is no good. They have to oppose it.
It's now, today, I'm sure you give me some time to.
But you already spoke, so it's a
what
stand
he's
to.
Just saying now.
It's a stand to speak. If there's a specific power you want, the country should actually reduce of the presidency.
Too much power is resided in the presidency. It's too much. Even constitutionalism. Imagine it is not there. There is too much power resided.
But is there a specific one you wish they actually reduce?
I was talking about the district chief executive.
Yeah, the district. Aside
that, some of this appoint chief justice, judges. Oh, my sister.
The president should
appoint
those people.
Should appoint judges for us. It should be on merit of how long you served, your experience should qualify you.
And your records.
Yes. How can a president appoint? Then you see that is where the problem comes in. One judge will be offended. Masuma, I thought it would be my time to be chief justice. Then they go appoint his junior who came to meet him to become his chief justice. Some of these things, I think there's too much power residing in the presidency. And it's time, the 1992 are checked. And you see, the framers were not wrong. Was at that time, what was in that dispensation is what they looked at to do the constitution. So once we move forward, it is important. We are not retrogressing. We are progressing as a country. So I think there should even be a set thing in the constitution. Every 10 years, let's sit and look at the constitution.
And look at the constitution again.
Well, you see, year by year, we are moving
forward.
Culture
is dynamic.
Yes!
We are moving on as a country.
Yes.
So
today we cannot use 1969 constitution.
No, we
can't.
We've gone past that. Yeah, so as part of the recommendation from the Constitution Review Committee, they are looking at limiting certain powers of the president. And as explained, you've listened to the submission from my guest. We are just hoping that in the coming days, this will be properly looked at. Decentralization of presidential powers. Now, onto the issue of the OSP. Yesterday, there was a press conference from the minority and they raised a couple of concerns. And as part of them was the minority urging the Supreme Court to squash the challenging of the OSP prosecutorial powers. They should quash it. Could you thought? As in, like, it should be taken off. Mr. Ake, why?
The minority says what?
The minority urges Supreme Court to quash case challenging OSP's prosecutorial powers. Why Why are you calling for this?
I've already said that.
Yeah, and the day you wanted to actually speak on that, something happened, you couldn't. So I think now is the time for you to actually speak on.
When you read your constitution, we have sources of law. One is the constitution, which serves as the grand norm, the biggest. Aside, they didn't say constitution is the only law. They talk about act of parliament. It's also a law. Existing laws before the constitution, it's also laws. PNDC, it is also a law. So these are what we use to govern a country. So Article 88 of the constitution, clearly we all agree, and it is not ambiguous. Article 88 is not ambiguous. Says that prosecutorial powers lies in the bosom of the Attorney General. I agree. You and I agree with that. Fair enough. A president comes and says that, yes, I'm a lawyer myself. President Kufuor is a lawyer. You can decide to dispute that. He has been in the system for long. And says that, no, I think that the appointment of the Attorney General, one, it comes from the presidency. Two, the Attorney General is the legal advisor to the government of the day. Politically exposed office. It is an office that will be very difficult to handle issues of, how do you say it? Putting out politicians like themselves who have been found guilty, sending them to court and all that. So why don't we set up an independent office? That is where the office, the Special Prosecutors Act came in. And that office was set up with that Act of Parliament. So it was set up to deal independently with corrupt issues. Politicians who have indulged themselves in corrupt acts. That office was to sit and look at that. NDC had a problem with office of the special prosecutor. All over this country we heard it. Hey, it is not needed. Hey, why? Because they thought that President Kufuor was going to use that office to go after people who spent government money in Mama government one. Appointed an NDC person, as he said, Martin Amidu came. Remember when Martin Amidu said President Kufuor is the mother serpent of corruption? The NDC people, yes. Now they had belief in the office of the special prosecutor. He can fight corruption. This is the office we need. The people who were against it too. Then he went on to clear Mahama from Airbus scandal. My brothers, man, he's good. That is the best office we've had. This is the office that can fight corruption. Then it started coming small. Then the same people, MPs, went to Parliament that office should be scrapped. 2 MPs, he knows them. It was out, and President Mahama said, no, I do not think it is. We should take that office off. I don't think we should take that office off. Then today we've gotten to a point where the prosecutorial powers of the OSP is being taken from him. Now the decision is that all cases that they are handling should go to the Attorney General, and then all cases that they've already handled should be declared null and void. And then this matter has gone to the Supreme Court for interpretation, and the minority is calling that it is not important. Let's question. You see.
But if they quash it, is that not the OSP losing his powers and also just going to be there for just investigation?
I don't know their meaning of the squashing, but in my perspective, I think that what they are saying is that the matter of which the prosecutorial powers of the OSP has been taken from him, they do not agree. It should come back to the OSP. Because
but it was never with the OSP, was it?
It was. That is the argument. What was the act saying? The act gave the OSP the power to investigate and prosecute. So once the act was passed and it was agreed, it means that the OSP had the powers. That is why he was able to investigate and prosecute people. He prosecuted quite a number of people. Uncle Siaga. We saw that. So now what it has gotten to is that those powers has been taken from him, and he has only the powers to investigate. That is why I say that his teeth has been taken out from his mouth. He can no more bite. He can do, but still, once the meat is there, he cannot bite the meat. and that biting power has been given to the Attorney General. And that is where you and I should have a problem, because it is scarier that the office of the Attorney General is telling you and I that there is a lot on his table. That is why up to now, oral cases, he has not been able to get to a point to get all of them into court. You remember?
Yeah.
He said there's a lot of cases on his table, and that same Attorney General is being given another job to take up all cases of the office of the special prosecutor. My sister, do you believe or do you think that the Attorney General will be able to handle them? Or I never made 20 billion in Pono up to now. At Asiegu, yentimi who may be a kusi. Then you are adding another office, another job to this Attorney General. Let's be real with ourselves. Right. But for me, I think that next time the OSP or your different in terms of fear
right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Ake. Mr. Frimpong, do you agree with the minority to quash the?
I've listened to my brother, and I'm still finding it very difficult to understand all that he said. There's something called quo warranto in law, writ of quo warranto, if I'm right. And the meaning is that writ of quo warranto is to ascertain whether office holder is constitutionally, and I'm using the word constitutionally and legally authorized to perform any act in or exercise any function of office to which he or she lays claim to. The 1992 Constitution never gave the OSP any authority to have any prosecutorial powers in this country.
What about the OSP's Act?
I'm making a point. I'm making a point.
So what did he say?
I'm making a point.
Matters of law, you have to understand before.
You see,
Mr.
when you were
Ake,
talking,
please,
I was
agree.
very
OSP
silent. I was very silent.
We agree.
Let's respect ourselves. I'm making a point.
Right.
I'm making a point on that. The 1992 Constitution, the Article 88, gives that authority to the Attorney General, to have that sole authority to prosecute anybody. I don't know if you would like me to read just the four of it.
The Constitution.
Yes, the Article 88, four of it. It says, give me just a second. Yes. So there's a control and direction. All prosecutorial powers are exercised personally or through officers working under the Attorney General, subject to their direction. So, some way, somehow, without the direction of the Attorney General, whatever that you are doing as a prosecutorial office is of no use or of no authority. You can't base on just a parliamentary act. And I repeat, you can't just base on a parliamentary act to prosecute anybody in this country.
So what should they be based on?
My brother, Yoko has executive instruments. Even ECG, Electricity Company of Ghana, they have the authority to prosecute people in this country. Even Senate have that authority to prosecute people. So it's just a matter of law. So, and I do not know any lawyer who believes you can create the office of the Special Prosecutor Office without amending Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution. To be able to create an independent prosecutorial body in Ghana, you need and you must amend that Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution. Other than that, whatever you tend to do, it's of no use. And I'm not so surprised that this happened under the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's administration. Some way, somehow, you will say that he's a third-class economic student, so we don't expect him to be the best lawyer in this country.
I will not sit here and allow that.
That's fact.
I will not sit here and allow that.
Did Nana Addo Dankwa graduate as a third-class economic student? I'm asking you. Did Nana Addo Dankwa please keep quiet. Keep quiet and let me just finish what I'm saying.
Who is a third class?
Let me keep quiet. I'm ending my statement.
Please let me make a statement.
I'm ending my statement.
Please, before you proceed.
These are known facts.
Which facts? Show us the facts.
So
Show us the fact.
Mr.
If
you think what I'm saying is wrong, then you prove it to
me. Just look at that.
You prove it to me. You are saying that he had first class. What are you saying?
No, listen.
What are you saying?
I don't think it's right for you to be attacking person.
Where were you in 1979?
No.
When President
Akufo-Addo? I don't think you've seen his certificate.
It's not about seeing his certificate.
Have you?
My point here is that by their deeds you shall know.
Have you? Just look at that.
You shouldn't.
I
don't think it's fair.
I'm telling you, we will not allow this. We will not allow this.
Reason why you think a simple enactment in Parliament, a simple enactment of Parliament can make an OSP have the authority to prosecute anybody. This is of no use. Just look at what.
You cannot sit here and then
please respect our viewers. Respect our viewers.
Then you should
keep quiet and respect. The point I'm making is that
look at that. So
the setup of that OSP was just a political tool which was designed to target officials of John Dramani Mahama's first term. And you know this, I know this. Reason why they came for our own person, Martin Kaiser Amidu, to come and prosecute us. But the God in the God bless our homeland Ghana, the God who starts our national anthem, knows that whatever that they arranged for us was going to be of no use. Reason why the Martin Amidu that day elected came out to say that my boss who elected me is the mother serpent of corruption. If you say it in Chi, I think it's better. Premre Batang. Premre Batang. Ebana Katatisheni Mumuaswa. Nana Dankwa was known for that. So I would say that Article 88 of the Constitution grants the Attorney General the exclusive authority over all criminal prosecutions, which is entrenched in the provisions of our Constitution. So no ordinary, I've said this and I'm repeating it again, no ordinary act of Parliament, as the OSP Act, can legally make him have the authority to prosecute anybody in this country. So if today you said I shouldn't say Nanado is a failed lawyer, I retract that statement. But if today Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo set up an office like the OSP as a lawyer, knowing the authority and the powers that controls Article 88, and you sit here to defend it as a communicator of the MPP, then clearly I have to question some of the things that you say in life, because these are things that are related to the. You see, let's speak true to fact. Let's be factual with whatever we are saying here. The Article 88 has made it so clear, and we all know the reason that backed the office of the special prosecutor. Were you not in this country when people were jubilating, or because Nana Dankwa elected Martin Kaiser Amidu? Were you not in this country when people knew, oh, they are going to jail NDC members, they are going to jail John Dramani Mahama, they are going to jail, say what?
Up,
I'm wrapping up, but all that I'm saying is that the Article 88 has made it clear. And whatever that we are saying as a party, as NDC, as a party in government, is that we cannot just based on just a common act, or we cannot just based on just a system that doesn't how should I put it, that our constitution doesn't back. So Parliament does not have that mandate or any plans till that they have that mandate or plans to amend Section 4 of the Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution. I strongly believe the Office of the Special Prosecutor is of no use in this country.
Mr. Ake, so after dismissing the case in Supreme Court, what next?
Oh, I do not know the fate of the issue, where it will go, But I think it is important that we set the record straight. First of all, you spoke about Attorney General Article 88 giving the powers to prosecute. Fair agree. Then you come back to tell us that ECG can prosecute.
Said I made mention of ECG because they have executive instruments. There's a difference between an executive instrument and a bare act of Parliament.
All right, thank you for the clarification.
There's a difference, please. So let him know what he's saying.
You said that Article 88 alone has the powers to prosecute. Then you come back to say that ECG and Senate can prosecute.
All being given AGA, Attorney General giving them all the powers.
Can't I make my
No,
point?
but I ended on that. So I end on that note for me.
ECG,
Yes.
Senate do not have powers to prosecute. Learn before you come and sit in the chair.
So maybe you didn't hear.
ECG,
Mr. Frimpong,
Senate,
you can note that down.
do not have powers. They can investigate. They can sue in civil matters. But once there is criminality, it has where it has to go to. Article 88 has made it clear. And again, enactment of parliament is enforceable. If you don't learn, you don't know. It is one of the sources of law. Read.
How do you
aside constitution, in Ghana, one of the things we use in this country is enactment of parliament. That is why we have criminal acts 29 and 30. When you are studying criminal law, you need criminal act, because what is not in the constitution, you come and read the acts, the sections, and it is enforceable. So you read before you come and sit in the chair. It is very, very important. That is what I'm saying. When it comes to matters of law, when it comes to matters of law,
of me reading, I also
you have to understand before you can make any point to speak on it. Act of Parliament, we have Contract Act, we use it. Criminal Act, we use it in this country, and they are all Act of Parliament. And it is important to understand the issue of contention. The issue of contention is that does Article 88, does the Office of the Special Prosecutors Act violate Article 88? That is where we go to Supreme Court for interpretation to tell us that it is. But to use that as the basis to tell us that you cannot use enactment of Parliament, an Act of Parliament, it is wrong, and it is not here nor there. And I repeat again, ECG, Senate, as you stated, cannot prosecute.
Thank you very
they
much.
can investigate, and when there is criminality, they have to send it to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Again, Article 88 give room.
His time is not
for
yet
the Office of the room
But
for the
I
Attorney
can't
General.
sit down for him to make.
But he was very quiet. He was very quiet whilst we were making
my
your
sister wouldn't
submission.
even agree to say the
So
things he's saying.
allow him.
Article 88 again, I think 4 also gives powers to the Office of the to the Attorney General to delegate. Delegate. That is why the police can prosecute. When police arrest you, they can prosecute, because the Attorney General has that powers to delegate it powers, that prosecutorial powers. So if you read down on Article 88, you see again. I have said this, and I've said this on countless occasions, that opportunity to denigrate either my flag bearer or my past president will not give room. President Akufo-Addo was called to the bar in 1975. When you read to 4 versus Attorney General 1979, one of the lawyers who was part of Mr. Tufo went to 4 sued. Akufo-Addo, President Akufo-Addo was a lawyer for Mr. Tufo in that case. Go and read under constitutional law. That is one of the locus classicus of constitutional law cases in Ghana. President Akufo-Addo was there. So if you think because usana ya can't trim NDC ni ya robot ni ya program ni ya can't trim say o failure or your third class or your den or your den, it is not here nor there. President Akufo-Addo is a practicing lawyer in this country. He practiced in the Prempe and Co. He was an Attorney General before he became the Foreign Affairs Minister. So we will not give room for anybody to denigrate him. He is an astute lawyer of this country. When you get the opportunity, speak to fact and stop whatever you said in that minute they gave you. It's all palpable lies, and it's not here nor there.
Right.
I said it countless times.
Thank you so much. Would you add your last words?
Let me add my last words.
I think you will have to give me the time.
Thank you.
But I gave equal time.
Thank you very much.
To speak to what all the things that
it's
he
not
said.
Everything he has.
All that he said was
he will
there
react.
were things related to what I said, but there are the things that I didn't say. I made mention that Yoko has executive instrument. If he doesn't know what executive instrument is, you should go and read about it. All Yoko, ECG, SNET, they all have executive instruments, all being given by AG. Please know that. And I also stated that.
And I'm telling you
I
that
do not
what
know.
you are saying is not here nor there.
I said that
they cannot
I do
prosecute.
not know any lawyer. I never said prosecute.
You said, hey!
Oh, my
please,
my
play
brother,
back
please.
Did he say
respect,
ECG and Senate can prosecute?
Let's
you
respect
are
the
here
viewers.
in the chair.
I said that I do not know any lawyer.
Yeah,
I throw crying out them both at you.
What not
I throw out them both. You
I
are thinking Akuba didn't have third class in economics. I am saying that I do not know any lawyer who believes you can create a special office like the office of the special prosecutor whilst Article 88 is still in effect. You can't do that. So you have to amend. You have to amend. So you have to go and learn about that. You gave who education?
When you go
and educate yourself. You have education yourself.
I came here as a Ghanaian.
All that I'm saying is that.
But you decided to let me wear my
to be effective, for the office of the special prosecutor to be effective, we all need
the viewers are judges.
We all need to know
you
that
did not read.
We cannot do that
enough to come and sit
here. Who did not read enough? Look at what
you're
saying that somebody didn't read enough to come and sit here. I'm saying that know what you are saying before you come and sit here.
Read.
Do you read?
NDC.
Do you read? Do you read? If you read, you get to know that there's a certain executive instrument that gives Yoko, ECG, and State all the authority to do things that they are doing.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let me end on my point.
Thank you very much.
You see, they don't have anything to do in life. Next time, when they give you a flyer, they don't have anything to do in life.
You read before you come and sit here. Because if it's issues of law, I will educate you. What do you know?
What do you know? What do you know?
Today didn't bring constitution.
You don't even know anything that related to that.
Whatever you said, you have lied.
Who lied? Who lied?
This time, learn. Are we done?
Office of the special prosecutor.
Are we done?
You want the office of the special prosecutor to be effective while you have Article 88. That's why you have a third class president as your leader. That's why you supported OIA. I am sad because the ordinary people of this country. I am sad because the ordinary people of this country will never sit down for someone called Aki.
It is important to learn.
You will not even have the authority to clean the shoes of any NDC member if you're an NDC member.
What's a white? NDC
if you are a great person to be in personality, would you wear this black?
Oh, my brother, are we done?
Yeah, we are done.
Thank you very much. Next time.
So let me end my submissions on this. Let me end my submissions on this.
He didn't end before he came here. Tomorrow, when they give you a flyer,
please respect.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. We'll meet same time tomorrow. Do have a lovely day.